Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Low Carb Football Party. Greg, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, Brian. Welcome everyone to the show. It should be a good one for sure.
All right. Good. I see quite a few people are getting online already, so go ahead and say hi in the chat and you can come on.
Whoops.
We have one here. This is Oneness. Says hi. Hello.
Hello.
Let's see. Oh, I don't know if you saw, but what you just did, you put in the private chat and says
Yeah,
regular
I
chat.
just fixed it.
Okay. All right. So tonight we've got diet challenges and tips for low carb dieting and how to break through some of those challenges. We got the NFL is the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. I have a few trivia questions that we're going to go through, and then we have a few guests as well, some special guests that are going to be on. Let's see. So we've got Bama J says hi. Hello. Joe is there. Hello. Checking in from Wales. Good. All right. So we got Chargers Raiders. Greg, what's your take on this game tonight? Oh, I can't hear you. Can everybody else hear him? I can't hear him.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say with seeing the Vikings and the Raiders last week, I don't know what to think about the Raiders, especially that 3-0 game. But I guess it looks like the Raiders must be at home. I'm guessing the way it looks here. I would think I personally am picking the Chargers to win this game, and I would say it'll be like a 21-13 game is what I'm going to pick with the Chargers winning. But, it should be a decent game. It's just hard to say, if the Raiders play good defense like they did last week, I could see this game be pretty low scoring.
Okay. Stan is here as well. He says howdy. So hello, Stan.
Stan.
I'm not sure who's going to win this game. I think both teams have backup quarterbacks starting, right? The Raiders have O'Connell. I forget who's starting for the Chargers, but it's his first career start, I believe. So it's going to be interesting. Like you said, it could be a low-scoring game. I guess I'll do a score here. I'm going to say 17-13, and I'm going to go with the Raiders. So we'll see what happens.
It wouldn't surprise me.
All right. So before we go any further, I just want to take a quick, some bit of a serious note here for something. So somebody that I worked with for quite a while, and they just retired a couple years ago, but I got to know them pretty well through working with them and became pretty good friends with them. Tuesday night, they passed away. They actually committed suicide. And I just want to put this out here. National Suicide Prevention Hotline. This is in the United States. You can call 988 or you can text it and talk to someone. If you're having any kind of suicidal thoughts or really bad depression, please, reach out to that hotline and get yourself help. And I just want to say that really quick before we really go into other things with the show.
Yes, it's really sorry for your loss, Brian. That's a tough one, especially when it's people we know and care about, and it's tragic. And it's one of those things. I encourage people if they are feeling down or struggling to make sure they call the hotline. There's some really good people trained to help people in those situations. So. Yeah, it's a bummer that has to happen, especially this time of year. It can be very stressful for people. So, sorry again for your loss, Brian. that's too bad.
Yeah. All right. So let's get back into it. So let me catch up on things. What do we have here?
Hi, Gail.
Gail's out there. Hello. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Gail. All right. So let's see. Our topic tonight is diet challenges and tips on the low carb diet. Before we go into that, I'm gonna actually start with our first trivia question. And this one has to do with the game. So again, it's the Los Angeles Chargers against the Las Vegas Raiders. So actually, I'm switching up my order. So this is going to say question 2, but it's actually my first question I'm asking, but it's going to say question 2. So here's the trivia question. What was the original city and name of the franchise before it became the Los Angeles Chargers? So the original city and name of the franchise.
You can go ahead and put your answers in the comments. I think I know this one, so I won't answer.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and put your answers in the chat, and we'll give it a few minutes, and then we'll give the answer. Gail's got a guess out here. She says San Diego. That's a pretty good guess, I'd say. Okay. Gotta go, whoops, back in. There we go. I can put the question back up on the screen. So what was the original city and name of the franchise before it became the Los Angeles Chargers? And by the way, Greg, I was having some issues with my Wi-Fi. I don't know what was going on. It seems to be better now, but I turned off the game. I don't know if something was streaming it and doing this stream. I don't know. Huh. So you're going to have to give the updates. I'm not going to have any updates going on. So
I can handle that. Hi, Christy.
Right. Hello, Christy. All right, so
Gail makes a good point, Joe.
One more time.
I hope you're seeking some help if that's the case.
Yeah, and while we're waiting on this, I just want to put this up again. Where do I have it? There we go. National Suicide Prevention Hotline in the United States. You can just dial 988. You can call that number. You can text it and talk to somebody to get help. So,
hello, Jazzy Jude.
All right, back to the question. Give it another minute or two before we actually answer. So while we're still waiting to do the answer, Greg, you started a new job this week. How's that been going?
It's been going really well. I've been really happy with it, to be honest. I love the people are amazing, and I'm learning a lot. And yeah, I really ended up in the right place, to be honest. I'm really excited about what I'm going to be doing, and helping other people and making a difference in people's lives is all I've ever wanted to do, and I get to do that in this job. So it's a good thing. And like I said, I've met a lot of awesome people, and the company seems to be amazing. And yeah, so far so good. My body seems to be holding up. I'm a little tired tonight, but I think that's just a lot of changes this week, so it can catch up to you a little bit, but it's all good.
All right, that is good. So we're going to go back to this question and then do the answer. That's the wrong question.
All right, Brian.
I messed myself up.
You've had a lot on your mind this week, buddy.
I put that as question 1, and I was going to ask that first, and I'm like, no, I'm going to start with sports question. All right. What was the original city and name of the franchise before it became the Los Angeles Chargers? So I did see one guess, and there was San Diego, which sounds like a pretty good guess. but the franchise was originally based in Los Angeles and known as the Los Angeles Chargers in 1960 before moving to San Diego in 1961.
Wow.
Funny that they are now back in Los
Yeah.
Angeles as the Los Angeles Chargers. Maybe a bit of a trick question, so I
Yeah, I was gonna say a
apologize
little
for
trick question.
it. All right. So since I already showed the other question, I might as well show that question again. This will be our next trivia question. What is the term for the state where the body burns stored fat for fuel due to reduced carbohydrate intake?
Yeah.
So getting a little health technical here.
I see there's one guess up there already.
Yeah, one guess is ketosis. All right. So while we're waiting here for answers, oops, what did I do? Sorry about that. So while we're waiting here for answers in the chat, Greg, any let's see, just to kind of touch into our topic a little bit, like any big diet challenges that you have run into? So you started in January, so you're almost a whole year now, right? So
Mhm.
any big diet challenges that you ran into that you would like to talk about?
I think the big one, I just was reminded of it yesterday. Hello, Kip. And I was just reminded of it yesterday and today, just in the workplace. Yesterday they had a contest for like desserts. So there was about 12 different desserts in the kind of the lunchroom break room, and they actually were having a contest to put pennies in the cups on which ones you like the best. And needless to say, there's a lot of temptation there. I'm happy to say that I didn't have any. I gave my pennies to someone else to vote, even though it looked amazing. I told the people that brought stuff, "Hey, it looks amazing. I bet it's amazing." And I, I didn't have any though, and I stayed away. And the same thing today. It was someone's birthday. Everybody brought a bunch of breakfast goodies and stuff, and I stayed away from that too. So, needless to say, the scale this week's been great. But those, I think, going forward, especially the remaining of this month, is going to be a challenge for everyone because especially at work, at home, holiday parties, the temptations all around. And you have to have the right mindset when you go in there to not try that stuff. You've had it before. You know what it tastes like for the most part. Mentally, you have to have that conversation with yourself. And the other thing is I kind of like to make sure I eat, like I have a hard boiled egg before I go in the morning. That's something I knew I've started doing. That way I'm not feeling really hungry come 9, 10 o'clock. And that seems to work. Like today, I didn't eat anything at noon. I basically did an OMAD today. So, which was cool. I had no problems with that. And then yesterday, I think I brought a little bit of summer sausage, like a few slices, and just a couple slices of cheese, hard cheese. And that was my lunch yesterday. So, and so far the scale, like the last couple days, I mean, it's been going down. So, I think that's good, and it's one of those things that stuff happens, but you keep plugging away, and the push-up challenge has been amazing this month too. So definitely.
Yeah. How have you been doing with the push-ups?
I've been doing pretty darn good. I just did 42. I still need to do mine yet today, but yesterday I did 42. So I was pretty happy with that considering I started at 15. So
Yeah,
yep, I
that's
can't
great.
complain. How about you?
It's been going really well. I did 56 today. So I started on December 1st with 25. And I did 56 today. Let's see, did I? Yeah. So some of the days I've done as many as 3 sets, some days 2 sets. The last couple of days I've only done 1 set. A few times here and there I've only done 1 set. So I've only got 1 set in so far today. I don't know if that'll probably be it because we've got this live stream. But still 56 from where I started at 25 one time. That's amazing. I think I figured it out. I'm like over 700, maybe close to 800 push-ups that I've done so far in the month of December. So it's been great. One thing I'll say is I have noticed I've had a little bit of a increase on the scale, my weight, which I believe is because of the muscle that I've been building. I've just been noticing, better definition in my arms and so forth. Even my legs, that just seem to be more defined. And I actually went down one on my belt notch, so I know that I'm actually losing some fat in the belly fat, but gained a little bit of weight. Now I was up to 8 pounds gained in December. As of this morning, it's 6, so I lost 2 of those pounds back. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know. Some of it might be a little bit of water that I might be holding. I don't know, but I think some of it also is just gaining muscle. So it's interesting. It's not anything I'm too worried about, just because I've lost quite a bit of weight, and with what I'm doing, I think the bigger thing for me is just making sure that I continue to lose the body fat and not worrying so much about what the scale is at this point. So
Yeah. I was gonna say, I do have a game update. The game did start off, and the Chargers have the ball. They're on their own 35-yard line. It's 2nd and 4. The game just started. 14-18 left in the first quarter.
yeah. All right. So let me go back. All right, here's the question. What is the term for the state where the body burns stored fat for fuel to reduced Boy, did I say that right? Fat for fuel due to reduced carbohydrate intake. Boy, I couldn't have butchered that worse. Um, and the answer, I think I saw it. The answer is
Yeah.
ketosis. So there you go. It's ketosis. So we do have one more trivia question I'm going to hold on to a little bit later, but so we'll have one more trivia question I'll put out there. So
Yes. Yeah.
keto first. I want to know who Keto
That's funny. I saw that
Vagorian
too.
rooting for, so I can pick the opposite. I don't know. Neither team has ever played in Oregon, so I don't know who she
My
rooting
guess
for.
is she's rooting for the Chargers, but we'll see. I'm sure she'll be on in a little while.
Yep. All right. So let's go back to our topic, diet challenges. So I am over a year and a half now. I believe that I've been on. Yeah, it's right about a year and a half, I guess, that I've been on the carnivore diet. But I started keto a couple months before that, so I'm a little bit more than a year and a half of doing low carb. Um, and one of the big challenges I had last year at this time was cravings and just all the holiday foods and so forth, right? And I don't know, 4 or 5 months in, I guess, on carnivore when we hit the holidays last year, and it was really tough for me. I still had sugar cravings pretty bad, and I had lost quite a bit of weight, and I kind of said to myself, "Oh, it's okay. I can have this one cookie. It won't be that big of a deal." But then that led to more cravings, and I would want to have another one and so forth. And I actually gained weight. I gained weight during the holidays. I think I don't remember exactly, but I think it might have been like 15 pounds or something or more. I can't remember exactly. But it was definitely a challenge for me. It was tough. And then it was a challenge to get back onto things. Going into January, I was like, okay, I was doing so well. I got to really get back into it. And um, it took me a little bit to get going again, but then I got going again. And then, in the spring, it did even better with losing weight and so forth. Now, I'm, like I said, about a year and a half in. So far, and I don't want to jinx myself, but we're like just over a week away from Christmas at this point. And so far, I have not fallen into the same trap. I've been really good. Thanksgiving, I did really well. Just so far with the holidays and everything, there's a lot of, temptations out there. Nobody else in my family is doing low carb or carnivore, so I've got that, that they bring home foods from the store that just aren't good. They're making different Christmas cookies and stuff like that. So, um, you know, I guess the one thing I guess I can say is that since I've been doing it for a longer period of time, the cravings aren't as bad as they used to be, and I'm able to get past it. So if you're somebody out there that's struggling a little bit with cravings, just know that as you go on, it tends to get a little bit better. Um, the other thing I'm going to bring up with this is, I finally decided to break down. Everybody's talking about the keto chow, and I decided to get the
Yeah.
starter pack. So I ordered the starter pack, and it should be coming in the next day or two. So I'm gonna see what all the rave reviews are for it and everything. Everybody's always talking really big about keto chow. So let's see. I've heard people talk about how you can make cookies that are very low carb, like 1 gram of carb or something. I'm carnivore, so I don't know how much of this I'm gonna do because technically I shouldn't have any of it, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see what I do, but I ordered it. I'll give it a try, see. Technically I shouldn't probably have any of it, even if it's got 1 gram of carb, but I'll see. Maybe I'll go ketovore for a week or two just to give it a try. I don't know. But so that's what I've got going on there. Let's go back here. Gail says that she's gonna root for the Raiders.
I will say this too, just to follow up a little bit with what you said. As I've gotten further along into this, it's easier to say no to the goodies. I feel, it's been, especially in the new job with all the food around, and everybody else is eating and they're eating 2 times while I'm sitting there in a 4-hour window, and I'm like, I understand and I get it, but it's one of those things. I guess by me staying away, I'm not craving more food, and it makes a difference, I get it though. The temptation's all around, and there's a lot of goodies and people want to eat, and it's one of those things.
Yeah. So Joe says you guys need to stop even thinking of non-carnivore foods. Just do beef and eggs and forget every other food exists. Easiest way. So I will say, for me, especially earlier on, just eating carnivore did seem to make it easier, because if I had something that I shouldn't, it led to cravings. So he's definitely got a point there. I know that there's people out there that don't want to go all the way to carnivore. They just want to do low carb. So I think that, the things like keto chow probably work well there. So again, I'm going to give it somewhat of a try. I don't know. I might even just let my wife try it. I don't know, but we'll see. But I ordered it. It was like $19.82 or something.
A shaker
That was
bottle.
with shipping. Yeah, that was with shipping and nothing else. I got a shaker bottle out of it.
Yeah.
But I will say I always feel best when I am just eating meat and drinking water. So just a good point there.
Yeah, I think for me, obviously I was keto for most of my weight loss. So, it's not a big deal to go keto. I'm still doing good things and losing a lot of weight. So for me, it hasn't been that big of an issue, I guess. I've done a little bit of carnivore in there. But I feel when I'm keto, I'm not deprived of anything. So I think I'm better apt to stay on task and not get sidetracked. So you got to do what works for you. And, I know carnivore is probably not for everyone. Not saying that I won't do carnivore again, because there's days where I do. But I think you have to keep that in mind too.
Yeah. All right. So we've got our first guest ready to come in. So let's welcome them to the show.
Hey.
Right.
What's up, guys?
Tip. How are you?
I'm doing great. Can y'all hear me okay, or do I need to turn it up?
No,
yeah,
you're good.
It sounds good.
Okay. Hey, I was jumped in just a little bit beforehand, and I seen where Joe Blow had said that comment, and for me, it had me thinking, like, I done my best, and I know that what Greg said is true, that everybody's different, and you have to find what works for you. But I know for me, looking back, because I mean, the second half of this year, there's been a lot more struggling for me. And I think a lot of it stemmed from allowing myself to loosen up and have things that, you know, I typically didn't in the first half of the year, because I was super strict early on. And then I started like having like different drinks that were like technically sugar free, and you know, that might have had like, I don't know, natural flavors and things like that. And then eventually I was like, well, I'll loosen up and have even a simple thing like cheese, having cheese again, and having things like heavy cream, and deciding I'm going to make some coffee and have heavy cream. And for me, those things kind of made it easier for me to want something else and want something else. And I feel like for me, I've done better at times whenever I, you know, take a month straight and be super strict. And then I could get to a point where I could walk in Walmart and it's like everything that is all the junk, all the fake stuff, it didn't affect me hardly at all. But it was whenever I was allowing those other things in, that those things, I started eyeing them and being like, oh man, that kind of looks good. That kind of looks good too. That right there, I bet that would be good. But whenever I was like eating just like meat, literally just meat, and having like cooking in Wagyu tallow, and a lot of times just steak or hamburger meat, that's whenever all the little outside noise didn't really affect me as much. And I know everybody's different, but for me, Joe Blow's comment had me really thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I was the same way. I think, Greg, we've talked about this before. I think it was back in the springtime when I said, you know, I was drinking some of those same sugar-free drinks, right, that had some of the natural flavors. And I said, you know, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to go straight water. And I was pretty much eating like steak and water at that point, right? And it made a huge difference switching to just plain water. That was huge for me. So Kip, why don't you tell us, if anybody out there that doesn't know about you, tell us a little bit about you and your channel.
Oh, so on my channel, and first off, thank you guys for having me on. I forgot to mention that a while ago. I appreciate it. And but a little bit about me. I mean, I was just a regular guy growing up, and I live in the country, live in the South. So I grew up on fried food, fried chicken, fried catfish, fried everything. And you know, but the pounds kept going up every year. You know, from the time I was in kindergarten, I was over 100 pounds. From the time I was in middle school, I was over 300 pounds. By the time I was made it to college, I was over 400 pounds. And I've always been the big guy. I don't know what it's like to be a small guy. I'm still the big guy. You know, I still am around 400 pounds. But I had hit right at 500 pounds, and I was getting to the point where I couldn't hardly take care of my family like I feel like a man should, and I wasn't able to do certain things. And that's why I had tried keto in the past, but eventually I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give carnivore a try. And carnivore was the thing that really helped me get over a lot of the cravings. And I say that by also saying that I've been slipping up recently, and you guys probably know that, but I've been slipping up a good bit recently. That's why I was thinking back to times that I was the most strict. The times that I was the most strict, you know, the outside things didn't affect me quite as bad. So that's why on my channel for all of next year, I'm wanting to focus on getting stricter again. And you know, but on my channel, you'll see that I document everything. Like, so if I'm struggling and I feel like I'm failing at something, I talk about it. If I try to be as real can be, because look, I'm a busy guy. I don't have time to be fake on YouTube. That'd be a waste of my time. So I just get on here and, you know, share my story, share my life the best I can. I don't have a camera crew. I just get on here and speak from my heart pretty much in every video.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting, Kip. Me and you are very similar in the fact that we lost the weight in around the same amount of time, the same amount. And then we kind of had our struggles, or, you know, I've kind of had my struggles the last couple months. I wouldn't say I gained a bunch of weight, but I haven't really dropped until this week. I'm starting to drop weight again. So I don't know if it's such a race, and such an effect on my body that it's just taken me this long to start dropping again or what. But it's feeling pretty good that the weight's starting to go down again. But yeah, very similar. I mean, definitely. Yet I'm old enough to be your dad.
Yeah. How old are you guys, by the way?
I'm 51.
And I am 49 for like 2 more weeks before I turn 50. So
and I'm 30. I was 29 when I started my journey, like my carnivore journey or whatever. And so I mean, of course, everybody knows that song by Tim McGraw, "My Next 30 Years" or whatever. So when I think about that song, and I'm like, man, I'm 30 years old now. And the first 30 years, I was overweight, I was out of shape, I was struggling with all these different things and being in pain, and had become a diabetic. I don't want the next 30 years to be like that. I want the next 30, I want to experience living. Like, I want to be able to go do things and go ride rides at Six Flags if I want to, and be able to fit in the rides. Because I mean, I've always worried about buying a plane ticket, because I know that I would have to pay for 2 plane tickets instead of 1. And I want to experience being able to just go get 1 plane ticket and not have to pay for 2, or not have to fly first class or anything. There's so many things that you miss out on when you're 400, 500 pounds, or even some people are heavier than that, and they know what I'm talking about. And, so my next 30 years, I don't want it to be nothing like the first.
Well said. And I'm just thinking here, like, as we talk, I think part of what happens is we lose, because we've all lost a good amount of weight in a certain period of time, right? And I had that last year. I went into the holidays, I had lost a lot of weight. And I think part of what happens is we've lost a lot of weight and we kind of relax a little bit. And that's when my downfall happened last year at this time, and I gained some of the weight back, but then I got really strict again. That's kind of like Greg. I think he had lost quite a bit of weight there, and then he got maybe a little bit lax. I remember as we went into Thanksgiving, you were like, "Yeah, Thanksgiving wasn't the greatest. I gotta move on from that."
It's a couple minutes or a couple months of lax, I would say.
Yeah. And so, Kip, you're kind of talking about the same thing here, right? You haven't been as strict, and I think that's just kind of a natural thing that happens for us because we've been successful, that you kind of get a little bit relaxed, and you got to kind of sit back and think about it and be like, well, wait a minute here, what got me here? Let's go back to basics. Let's do what got me here, and then move back on again. So there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to be able to do that, and you're going to go back on the right track again. So
I appreciate it, because I mean, like you said, I made it to lose over 100 pounds, and then sometimes you almost feel like you want to reward yourself because you lost 100 pounds,
Right.
and it's like, oh man, I lost 100 pounds, I'm doing awesome. But we don't realize that although it took a while to lose that 100 pounds, but you can gain it back pretty quick. And so that's what I'm wanting to make sure doesn't happen, because I know that it took a long time, not a long time, but it took like probably 8 months or so to lose that. And, but I know it wouldn't take 8 months to gain it back. So I definitely want to be careful throughout the rest of this year, and definitely going into next year, because I have so many goals that I want to achieve, and just going back to my old way of eating and stuff is not the answer.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, can I interject a scoring update?
Yeah,
sure.
Actually, it was a little bit ago. The Raiders are up 7-0. They scored a touchdown. I did not see who scored, but now the Chargers have the ball and are kind of moving around the 50-yard line or so.
Okay. Thanks for the update.
Yep.
So I think I missed this. Joe asked what kind of pain. I think this is when you were first talking. I think, were you talking about your shoulder pain? Is that what it was?
If you're talking about me, I can't remember, but I know that I definitely have shoulder pain. And since I've been off plan, I can tell that my shoulder pain's coming back. And so, I got to do something about that because it's a reminder. I mean, like, it's definitely a huge reminder of, oh crap, when you eat like that, this is what it felt like. I was at work the other day, and well, first off, my sugar hadn't bottomed out ever since I started carnivore. And from being off plan, like most of the time since Thanksgiving, like getting on plan for a day and going back off plan and getting on plan and going back off plan, my sugar bottomed out a couple times, and my sugar hasn't done anything like that since I started this journey. So that's actually pretty scary. And then, the pain coming back is just a reminder, like, this is terrible making this kind of decision. And I don't know, man, it's just I was gonna say something else, but I forgot what I was gonna say, guys.
All right, no problem. Let's catch up on some things in the chat here. So Christine is here. Good afternoon from New Zealand. Start of the summer holidays. Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah. Eric is here, asking if he missed anything.
How's it going, Eric?
So Greg just gave an update on the football game. So Raiders, Chargers. We've had a couple trivia questions. We got a third trivia question yet that we're going to ask in a little while. So be ready for that one.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. Do y'all announce who the speakers or who the guests are going to be, or is it like a surprise to everybody during the stream?
We don't usually say anything, but I guess that they can kind of figure it out sometimes, just because if they streamed it to their channel or whatever. But we don't typically say anything until we bring them in.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm excited about both of the people that's coming on tonight, because I know both of them, and they're both amazing people. So everybody needs to stay in this chat tonight and hear from these people. I love both of them.
I kind of planned it that way.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it would make sense anyways.
So I'll say this. One of the two is a repeater that we've had on the show before, and another one is brand new that has not been on our show before. So I know that's not going to give you a whole lot of information if you don't know who it is, but that's okay.
I know. I kind of wish they were here already.
Won't be too much longer.
Yeah. All right. So Traveling Pack says, hello, fellow sprinter. I guess they're talking to you, Kip, because I know you've been doing some running.
Yeah, I hadn't been doing quite as much because I know that the scale's been going up recently. So, like, the main thing is, I feel like I can still go for a run, but I don't want to risk like an injury, like a knee injury or anything like that on a joint, because if that just a little bit, like if you add 20 or 30 pounds on a scale, your knees know about it whenever you're trying to jog and things like that. So I'm taking it easy with that, but I actually still went for a walk this evening. So when I got home from work, I went for a walk and things like that. So I'm still walking and moving my body and things, but I wasn't going to jog. I need to get a little bit more weight off before I get really, really into it. Cause I know next year I've slipped up and let the cat out the bag that I'm going to run a 5K. And by saying that, I'm challenging myself, and I'm sure everybody else is going to keep asking me about it next year, making sure I'm sticking with it and everything. But with all that, I don't want to, just because I said I'm going to do it next year, I don't want to jump too fast and try to do it early in the year. I want to get some more weight off before I go crazy with the running, because I definitely want to protect my joints and everything.
Yeah. So Christine says, hi, Kip.
Hey, Christine. Some of these people, I know who they are. I see them in the comments sometimes.
So Gail said, I had my last cup of coffee for a while this morning. Going back to herbal tea helps. So good. And the question Joe had, by the way, about pain was to Gail, not to. So I totally blew that one. I don't know.
I thought
but Gail did respond.
Couldn't see it.
For me, my fibromyalgia and finger pain and stiffness and swelling ramped up big time since Thanksgiving.
Sometimes I catch myself thinking about Gail, because she's been following my journey for a long time now. And at one point she told me in my comment section, she said that she enjoyed watching me go for walks and stuff because she wasn't able to. And dude, that really hit home with me, because I was thinking, like, I don't even want to get out here and go for this walk. And this lady's telling me that she can't do it. And then I'm like, so that made me feel like, man, you don't even have an excuse.
Yeah.
So now oftentimes I'll think of her, and I appreciate it, Gail, for you saying that day, because it kind of lit a fire under me that, like, if you're able, if you don't have a reason that you can't get out there and do that, quit making an excuse, get off your butt and go do it. And so I definitely appreciate her for that.
Yeah, Gail's pretty awesome. That's for sure.
Yeah. Traveling Pack says my regular pants were falling off when I incorporated my sprints into my walk. And Christy said, go Kip 5K. I'm in solidarity with you, but she's going to walk hers.
She says that she's going to walk it, but she might end up running it. If she actually, because I'm going to do it late in the year, probably. I'm thinking maybe like September or October. Like once it gets cooler, plus it'll give me more time to get more weight off before I do it. Because I mean, if I lose another 75 pounds to another 100 pounds, dude, I'll feel like I'm walking on clouds. So, so I'll probably just be floating across the finish line. So, if by that point, if she trains for it a little bit, she might be able to run, and she might be able to be the first person to cross the finish line.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Christy's been doing sprinting lately, so yeah. Gail says, yeah, she's been following you from the beginning, and she's happy to help.
She's awesome.
Let's see.
Hey, Kip, I just want to tell you, man, I'm really proud of you and all you've accomplished. And I really believe in you and what you're doing. And I have no doubt you'll reach your goals. I've been following you for quite some time too. And yeah, just keep going, brother. You got this.
I appreciate it, Greg. I've been following your journey for a little while now too. I don't get to see every video.
Yeah.
Mainly because, dude, like with work and with a toddler, I've been so busy. There's so many content creators that I want to watch their videos, but I just have to pick one. Like I'll think of different people and I'll watch one, and then later on I'll think of a different person that I hadn't seen in a while and I'll watch one of theirs.
Yeah.
Because I can't watch everything, but I definitely been following your journey for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard, because there's so many, but that's a good thing too, because there's so many people out there now sharing their experiences, and that's just going to help the grassroots effort,
Yeah, and each one of us guys is helping somebody that the other person can't reach. Like Greg's helping somebody that I can't reach, and Brian's helping somebody that Greg can't reach, and I'm helping somebody that they can't reach, because there's always somebody that sees one of our videos that don't know who the other person is. So we're definitely helping a lot of people that way.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go, Gail.
Gail wants to hike Yosemite next summer. So yeah, that's a great goal.
That's awesome.
That's a long way from me. I'm down in South Alabama. I'd have to look it up, but I'm sure that's a couple thousand miles from me.
Yeah.
It looks like we have a scoring update. The Raiders scored a touchdown again. It was under review. I think the review is done. Yep, they're kicking off. So it's 14-0. The Raiders are beating the Chargers. So far they outscored our prediction, or mine anyways. So
wow. All right.
What's you guys' favorite team?
No, Greg, you want to go?
I was going to say, I like the Minnesota Vikings, but that's who my dad liked. And, I'm in northern Iowa, so I'm 2 hours from the cities, and I've been to many games. I had season tickets one year to the Vikings. Back in 1999, I had season tickets for 1 year, and it was fun. It was a good time, but I've just always followed them. But, Brian, his favorite team is interesting, and they've been disappointing lately.
Yeah, well, so my favorite team is the Detroit Lions. When have they not been disappointing? First of all, never played in a Super Bowl. So yeah, they've always been disappointing, but they late last year, they kind of went on a winning streak and they started out really good this year. They're still in first place in their division, but I think their division's kind of weak. So that's, I think they got Minnesota by like a game and a half or something at this point, but they both been kind of losing. So I don't know what's going on there.
The Chargers just fumbled the ball too, by the way.
Oh, geez. I'm starting to wonder if the Packers might kind of get back into this division with Detroit and Minnesota because neither one of them are doing that well. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm personally a huge college football fan. I'm a diehard Alabama fan. And because, living in this state, we don't have any pro sports at all. So to us, like Alabama is the NFL.
Right.
Like that,
Yeah.
with that, like that, we put all of our focus, all of our money, all of our effort into Alabama having a good season. And usually it works out that way. Every now and then we kind of mess up a little bit. But we don't have any like even the NBA and basketball. We don't have any pro baseball teams. Nothing. We just have Alabama football. We got Auburn, but they don't count. We don't care about Auburn. But so when it comes to the NFL teams, I just like watching like ex-Alabama players. I like watching teams that have Alabama players, which a lot of teams do. But of course, like I like watching the Eagles right now because Jalen and Jalen Hurts and different teams that have Bama QBs on them right now.
Yeah. So I'm actually a bigger college fan than I am NFL, and Alabama is one of my favorite teams.
They're bad to the bone, buddy.
I go back to the Bear Bryant days, like in the early '80s and that. Yeah. So I know I'm showing my age. I'm much older than you. So you probably heard of him, but don't remember any of that time period because it was back in the '80s. I don't think you were even born yet.
It was
right?
before I was alive, but trust me, I know everything there is to know about Paul Bear Bryant.
All right.
Like I was I actually went to the University of Alabama, but before I went there, I was a Bama fan ever since I can remember, and I remember watching the Bama games like always, even whenever we were not any good at all. Like we went through some hard times, and now we've been spoiled a lot with Coach Saban. But before Nick Saban got there, we went through some hard times over the years. But yeah, Paul Bear Bryant, he was incredible, and Nick Saban's right up there too.
Yeah, definitely is. So my alma mater is University of Toledo, and that was Saban's first head coaching job. So Toledo's the other team that I really like a lot. And I'm glad that they never play Alabama because that just would not go well. It would be like when Alabama plays Chattanooga, right?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a fair matchup.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. I wanted to go to my last trivia question. Since we're talking about football anyway, this is another football question, another NFL one here. So our game again tonight is the Los Angeles Chargers against the Las Vegas Raiders. So our last trivia question of the night. What is the historic rivalry name between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders? So if you think you know it, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. Let's see if I can catch up on our chat real quick.
Hey, there's a scoring update, by the way.
Again? Oh my gosh.
The Raiders scored another touchdown. So they are up 21-0. And there's 3:07 left in the first quarter.
What did I say? Like 17-13? Boy, was I off, huh?
I still can't get used to the Raiders being Las Vegas Raiders. I'm used to them being the Oakland Raiders.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, they were Oakland, then they were Los Angeles, then they were Oakland again. Now they're Las Vegas. They've been all around, but yeah. Oakland's, that was my favorite when they were Oakland. Oh.
I suppose it's tape delayed on the West Coast.
What happens to the fans? What happens to the fans whenever a team just leaves that city? Like, do they just lose half their fans, or do their fans just remain fans even though they moved?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I'm thinking of remember it used to be the wasn't it
The Rams, right?
the Cardinals were in St. Louis.
Oh,
they were known as the St. Louis Cardinals. Then they moved to Arizona. I know a guy who's a fan and he stuck with them. So I'm guessing sometimes people stick with them, but I'm guessing sometimes, especially if they get a new team in, they just start supporting the new team. Would be my guess. You think of the Houston Texans. It used to be the Houston Oilers. They moved to Tennessee, became the Tennessee Titans, and now there's the Houston Texans. So I'm guessing a lot of those Oiler fans maybe adopted the Texans, would be my guess. But
yeah, I haven't seen any answers in the chat for our question. I think we stumped people.
You stumped me? I don't even know that one.
This was probably the hardest question that we gave. So do you got any ideas, Kip, what it could be?
Man, I'm on the East Coast and that's on the West Coast. So I'm college football, so I definitely don't know. I'm gonna look it up though, but I ain't gonna spoil the answer.
All right.
Chip, your microphone works really well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, this one, it's called a Samson Q9U. If you guys ever looking for one or whatever, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I think it's a pretty good mic.
Yeah. Yeah, because my volume's hardly turned up and I can hear you really good. So definitely.
Yeah, it does sound really good. Good stereo sound.
Mm-hmm.
Kale's comment, when they left to go to Las Vegas, it was, we had a football team? I knew we were supposed to hate the Chargers, but I don't remember if they gave that a name. Yeah. So I guess I'll go ahead and give the answer here because I think we really stumped everybody on this one. So what is the historic rivalry name between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders? The answer, often referred to as the Battle of California. And I got to tell you, I did not know this.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. All right.
Although now one team's in Nevada.
Yeah. You'll figure, right? So Christy's asking if you have a link for that mic. She's in the market to get one.
I can get you a link. Or just go on. I'll type it in right here. Samson Q. It's called a Samson, and it's not Samsung. It's Samson, SAMSON, and then Q9U. It's around $100, but some of these it's like a podcast mic, and it actually, I'm using it through USB-C, but it actually has XLR port too. If you want to go XLR, which would make it sound even better. But I don't have that set up right now. But I do really like the mic. I think it's a good quality mic. Some of the mics are like $400, and if you compare this one to some of those, this one sounds pretty close for a lot less money. Yeah,
it sounds like that one might be a little bit of an upgrade from the one I have. I have the Samson as well, but it's a Q2U. And it's the same thing. It has the XLR port. I'm just using the USB port though on it. So yeah, it's worked really well for me too. So
yeah, the Samson Q2U came out first. The Samson Q2U came out first, but the Q9U just has a little bit better tones and stuff, and so a lot of people recommend it as well. But I mean, because I think the one you got's a little bit cheaper. It's like $50 or $60, and it's a good option too for somebody.
Yeah. I need to get one of those arm things that you got though, so you can just hang it off the side. I always have my microphone sitting right here, and usually at least once a night I'm good to knock it over. So
I'm waiting.
This is made by Samson too. You don't have to get a Samson brand one, but I mean,
Mhm.
since I got the mic, I went ahead and paid the extra money to go ahead and get the boom arm as well.
Yeah. And here's where he's got it.
So Kip,
Samson
you gonna do any holiday barbecuing?
Yeah, I definitely want to do something. I would like to do a lot, but I probably won't get to do too much. But I've definitely my family pretty much makes me do a lot of the Christmas stuff, so like because I've done it for so many years. So I have to do a lot of that, and I might film a little bit, but I won't get to film too much. I might film like some prime rib, or if we do brisket for Christmas or anything like that. But I won't film too much though.
And yeah, Christy, just keep watching. I'll probably knock it over a couple times tonight, so I'm good for that. All right. Let's see. So I don't know.
You didn't
Gail
ask him.
mentioned that she didn't see anyone else in the chat.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
other people. There are people talking in the chat. Joe's there. I think I showed this one, but Becky's here. So hello, Becky. Yeah. All right. We have. Let's see. All right, we have our next guest ready to come in. So I'm gonna bring them in here in just 1 second. Oh, am I still here? Because my computer just.
You're good.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what just happened, but I just lost my screen.
We can see you and hear you.
Oh, it's back. It's back. Okay, that is crazy. I've had some weird things happening today.
You have tonight. Before we even got on, you had some issues. So,
man, that is crazy. Okay, so let me bring in our next guest. All right. Hello, Allison.
Hi. Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, how are y'all?
Here we go. Here's your channel name scrolling on the bottom.
Good.
Thank you.
Allison, so for anybody that doesn't know you, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel?
Okay, so I started carnivore in January of this year, the middle of January. And I was trying to lose weight. I started gaining weight, about 10 years ago. And I could never lose weight. And then I have some autoimmune issues too. So I had a reaction to something I ate, and I started like a Google search for like a detox diet, and Michaela Peterson came up, and I started watching all her videos, and I thought, okay, I'll do this for a couple weeks just to detox. And it's been 11 months. In a couple days, it'll be 11 months that I started. And so I love the carnivore diet. I don't do lion diet. I do carnivore, and my channel is just about, my experiences with eating this way and having a family. I have 2 teenage daughters. I have a grown son too, an adult son, but, and my husband, he saw me starting to lose weight, and he was like, I'm going to do this too. So he started, because he's really competitive in like a healthy, competitive way. And so he's lost 20 pounds. I've lost almost 30 pounds. And a lot of my autoimmune issues are in remission. And I feel great, and I feel better than I have since I was in my 20s. So that is my story in a nutshell.
Great.
I just want to say, guys, that look, Allison is like, she's like my best friend. Okay. Like me and her, like we connected like quickly, and I love her and her husband, and she knows that. And like we cheer each other on. Like she's one of those people that like she doesn't just care about like my success. She also like she always asks about my wife and she always asks about my daughter. And like they went to was it Disney World or Disneyland y'all went to?
Disney World.
They went to Disney World and they bought my daughter a gift and everything. And my daughter loved it. It was like a Minnie Mouse thing. And my daughter brought it to church. And like Allison is just a great person. So anybody that's watching this, if y'all haven't subscribed to her channel, please subscribe to her channel before you get off of here or after you get off here tonight. I love her.
Thank you. I just connected with Kip watching his videos, and you're just so dear to me. So I just love Kip. We love Kip and his family too. So thank you.
And tell your husband I said hello too.
I will.
It's funny. Go ahead, Brian.
Let me say really quick, if you don't know her channel, it's scrolling on the bottom of the screen here. It says at Ellison Johnson 6710. So that's how you get to her channel. So you can go check it out and subscribe. Sorry, Greg, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I found Allison because of Kip, because I remember when you first announced, hey, Allison's starting this channel, make sure you give her a sub and check her out. And I did. So I've been following you ever since Kip did that it was a long time ago. I mean, it was a while.
It's been a while. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So that's how I started watching you too. And once I saw you on the live the other day, I've been thought about reaching out to you to see if you wanted to get on the show. And I don't think you'd done really any lives. And then I seen you were on a live. I'm like, might as well ask you now.
Yeah, I know. It's perfect. Thank you, Gail. It was perfect. I like doing these lives, but I've never done one on football. So I hope I don't have to have any knowledge of that, because that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I don't think we really know anything about football either, right, Greg? At least I apparently don't, because I said it was going to be 17-13 and it's already 21-0.
But I do know that many years ago, the Colts were in Baltimore, and in the middle of the night, they left town and came to Indianapolis, because I'm from Indianapolis originally. And I don't think there's any Colts fans in Baltimore anymore. It's a touchy subject.
Yeah. Yep. And then so Baltimore got the old Cleveland Browns franchise there, and that's what's known as the Baltimore Ravens now. So they get a team again.
So it worked out, I guess.
Yeah. So I got a question for you, Ellison. Tonight our topic is around diet challenges and different tips and so forth. So you've been doing carnivore for about 11 months, you said. I'm sure in that time period you've run into different challenges. So you have any challenges that you can share with us and our audience? What you went through and your experience with it.
Sure. I around month 6, I started having like meat aversions, which is terrible to have meat aversions when you eat mostly meat. And I have like a little bit of sensitivity to pork and stuff. So I really just do beef, butter, bacon occasionally, and eggs and salt. And I started having all these aversions. And I mean, like, I could not even think about eating ground beef. And I really was kind of panicked, because I was like, what am I going to eat? And I don't like to cook. So I don't cook chicken or anything. And I didn't then. So I really had to kind of test and experiment almost like every day and think, okay, I used like protein powder, the Equip Prime protein powder, and eggs to get through that, because I also have like hormonal issues with my thyroid. And so if I undereat, which I was undereating, then I have other side effects from that. So I really had to like figure it out. And I just had to think, okay, just take it one meal at a time. And eventually I realized within like, I don't know, 5 or 6 days, I think I was eating too much fat, too high fat. And it was causing me to have like aversions to, I thought it was meat, but it ended up being like just too much fat. So I had to kind of back it down. So I've had to do that experiment a lot. Sometimes I'll have a flare up with, if I do eat pork, then I'll have some side effects from that. So I'm constantly like having to kind of experiment and not get frustrated with the idea that, you know, I have to change things when there's not a lot of variety, which I like that because it's simple. And I don't, like I said, I don't like to cook. So it's like, okay, I can eat things on repeat, but those are the challenges that I've been dealing with for like the last 3 or 4 months. I don't have too many challenges with cravings or anything, but I have a very, my routine is doesn't change. And I work from home. My husband works from home. I work from home. I go to work, but I only work part-time for 2 days a week. So I can keep things very routine. My routine can be very routine. So I don't get a lot of temptations or things like that. So for me, just the tips would be just to keep trying things and not get so frustrated or not let it get you down to where you can't recover from those kinds of issues. Those are some of the things that I have dealt with. I haven't really been having too much trouble with aversions or anything lately. So,
Okay.
that's
So
helpful.
on the topic of aversions, Christy asked, why do you think the meat aversion started?
Well, at the time, that was another thing. It happened to us like 3 or 4 times. And it wasn't just one store, but we were going to the store and we'd get home and like within a day, the meat was bad. It was like off. And that just made, you know, like we bought it that way, but it didn't appear that way until we got home and then opened it and then it smelled off. So that kind of started it. And I think at the same time with having too much fat, like I was putting too much butter in my coffee because I do drink coffee. And I'd be drinking my coffee. You would think it'd be more obvious, but I'd be drinking my coffee and then be like, this tastes terrible. And then I'd start thinking about, you know, what I'm going to have at lunch or whatever. And then I'd be like, that sounds terrible. And it was too much fat, you know, it was just too high fat. And at different times, my body wants different things, you know, sometimes I can do a lot of higher fat for like 4 or 5 days. And then it's like, no, that's too much. You know, I get a little nausea and stuff like that. So it's the constant working with it, working around it.
Yeah. And I know my body is the same way with fat, where there are times that I really want a lot of fat content. And then there's other times like I have a steak that's really fatty and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I just don't want to eat that. You know, like I still want to eat the steak, but I'm like, I'm cutting around all the fat and stuff. And like, I never used to do that. And that happens sometimes. And then like earlier today, I was like, oh yeah, give me some of this fat. So it's one of those things where your body knows how much fat it needs. And if you need more, it's going to crave it more. And if you don't, then it's going to be like, yeah, I don't really like that right now, you know?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. But
hey, Allison.
Yeah.
I'm over here messaging your husband Dale. and I took a picture of the live stream and sent it to him because I was like, my night has been made. Like, these guys don't know how happy I was when I found out you were going to be on here tonight. Like,
I know.
Like, if nobody else joins the stream, I'm still happy that they chose to have you on.
Me too. I feel the same way. I was so excited and I thought, I can't wait. Because we've never talked in person or on the live before.
Just through like little short videos to each other, but we've never talked live. So this is cool.
I know. I agree. I know. I was so excited.
Hey, Susan just got here. Hello, Susan.
Hi.
If anybody has a question, so like Christy had a question, notice how she put the QQQ in front. So if you can put a couple Q's in front of your question, you have a question for Allison, you have a question for Kip, or even for Greg or I. Probably don't have questions for us, but you know, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, put QQQ in front of it so that we can easily identify the question and we'll work to get those answered. All right. So are we still at 21-0? Are we in the second quarter yet, at least?
Yeah, it's in the second quarter, but it is 21-0 still. So,
all right. So yeah, I completely blew that. I did say Raiders though, I think, right? Yeah, I did say the Raiders were
I
going to
said
win.
Chargers. Yeah.
But yeah, I said low scoring, and here it is, 21 points already. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't realize the quarterbacks were both hurt though either when I made my picks, I guess. So like, oh well.
Yeah. I think the Raiders haven't they been going with O'Connell the last couple weeks?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
he played
Chargers,
last
I think
week. Mm-hmm.
for the Chargers, I think this is his first start. See, I almost knocked my microphone down already, so I got to readjust it here. Christy almost got to see it. She had posted in the chat earlier, knock it down, I want to see it.
Yeah.
It's like, it'll happen. Well, we're waiting to see if any questions come in. Let's see. We're talking about diet challenges and tips today. Greg, I know we touched on a little bit before we brought Kip in and then Ellison. Anything else that you wanted to bring up about challenges that you've seen? I know for you, you've got a unique perspective because you've done keto. You kind of did the carnivore one day, ketovore the next day. Then you were carnivore for a while. Now you're kind of back to keto or ketovore. So you've had a few different ways of doing the low carb, right? So anything more you want to add in there? Any tips or anything for people?
Oh, I think the key is to keep your carb number low as possible. I know Russ sometimes talk about a carb number, and he's not all wrong, because I think if you can the lower you can keep that carb number, the more successful you're going to be. One thing I will say with doing more of a ketovore type, I tend to watch calories. I know that some people don't on carnivore. I know, Brian, you're not a big fan of tracking calories, but I find that it works pretty well for me. So I kind of keep an eye on that. Even when I was doing carnivore, I would still kind of watch my calories a little bit. And I think it's just out of habit, because that's what I've always done. But it's one of those things. I mean, I don't track like I used to. I used to put everything in Carb Manager, would track everything. And then, as I was still losing weight and stuff, I did I know what to do now. I don't need to track it so much. But, I think if people do struggle, I think it's important they kind of do track where they're at, because it's a great way to pinpoint where you may be going wrong, no matter what diet you're on or what kind of plan you're on. I think it's a good reference point, because, just the one little thing could be stalling your weight loss. So if you track your food, you might be able to pinpoint it a little bit closer to find out, what's causing this problem. Am I eating too much cheese, for example? So.
Okay. So Joe just comes right out with a big gun question here. And we do have another question after this that we'll get to, which is going to be interesting, because I can probably, to an extent, answer that question myself. But anyway, so Joe's question: is there anyone in the carnivore community you think is a charlatan? I don't personally think so, but Ellison, let's start with you.
No, I don't think so. I don't know everybody that I never thought that about anybody.
Kip, how about you?
What is a charlatan? I don't know what that is.
So basically somebody that's lying, I guess.
Yeah, that's fake. That's fake.
Yeah, saying things that they don't necessarily know or true or whatever, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really come across that yet, and I've got to meet multiple different content creators and things like that, and so far most of the people that I've met seem to be very genuine, which I know a lot of times you don't really know a person until you're around that person a lot. But from what I've seen, most of the people have been outstanding, because a lot of these people are coming to carnivore out of desperation. It's not like people just wake up in the morning one day and be like, you know what, I'm going to do carnivore. There might be somebody that does that, but usually either they're 700 pounds or 500 pounds and they're in severely bad health, or they've got all these they're 60 or 70 years old and they've got so many health issues or something like that, or they was born with some autoimmune condition, or they was born with or they developed some sickness, and they come to this because they felt like it was their last resort. So most of these people have, you know, got onto this and for different reasons like that. And the results have been so good that they felt like they needed to tell somebody. At least that's where I came from, because like, I never thought I was going to turn a camera on. Like, I never thought I was going to film a video, but because a month or two in, the results were so good, I was like, I need to tell somebody about this. And I was telling people in my family, I was telling people at work and different places. And even though they were looking at me like I was crazy, I was still telling them anyway. And because it was just so amazing. So I think most of the people are genuinely amazed by the results. But of course, there could be somebody that's in it for the money or just to make a video and try to get rich. But I got bad news for them, and most likely not going to get rich.
That's right.
Like, it's a very, very, very small group of people that actually make a living doing this. So, and it takes a lot of work just filming videos and doing interviews and all that. Like, there's a lot of ways to make more money than this for most people.
Yeah. Greg, you got anything there you want to try?
Oh, I think for the most part, everyone's genuine. I think people are in it for different reasons sometimes, but there's maybe people in it trying to make a buck, and then there's other people that are in it to actually try and help people. I see that, and that's in any, basically anything you see on YouTube. So it doesn't matter, which weight loss group or which plan or whatever, or if it's something else. There's people out there trying to make a buck. They got a lot of work because it's hard to make money in this gig.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was talking with Dr. Kiltz just a couple days ago, or maybe a couple weeks ago now. And when I was talking with him in the live stream, after the live stream, we were talking about different things or whatever. And even he said, like, don't quit your day job. And then, because it's the thing, like, you can get monetized and all this other stuff, but like very few people, especially in like a niche like this, talking about this, because a lot of people, they're not concerned with their health, or they don't want to hear it. Like, they just want to give me my cheesecake and don't worry about yourself. Like, a lot of people aren't as focused on this. Now there's tons of other types of channels outside of this that maybe they grow up big like that. But, I mean, you got to be doing this because you actually want to share your story, or because you actually want to help somebody. Because, I mean, it's a grinding work. It's a lot of time. Like, people that never edit a video don't know what that's like. And you can edit a video, and then if you don't know how to make a thumbnail, nobody's going to watch your video. And so there's a lot more to it than that my eyes have been open this year about how much work it is to actually do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
All right. So Martin asks, any suggestions on how to cope with a non-supporting spouse? So Allison, do you have any experience there or no?
I don't have any experience there. I mean, I'm glad that I don't have that experience, but like I said, Dale was like, oh, he got on the boat, he got on board real fast, and he is much less strict. That he's not as strict as I am, by any means. He's keto. Well, he's kind of carnivore, but he does have the other things, and he's a moderator. He's one of the few people that can moderate. I don't know where he got that skill, but that is not me. So but I don't have, any of that experience with that. I'm sorry.
No problem. Kip, how about you?
Well, I mean, when I read that question, I think about, like, what's their definition of the word support? Yeah. Because, I mean, I believe that supporting someone doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be doing the same thing that they're doing. Because, I mean, of course, I've asked my wife numerous times to do carnivore, and she's always said that she doesn't want to do it. But if you ask me, does my wife support me? Yes, she does support me. And honestly, if your spouse is like, trying to not support you in any, not just carnivore. If your spouse is not supporting you on anything in life, then maybe you should rethink who your spouse is. But
That's true.
but yeah, I mean, if they're just going around not supporting you and not cheering you on or whatever, because I mean, there's things that my wife's into that I'm not into, but I support her. So I would hope that everyone's spouse is supporting them on their journey and things like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're carnivore. I live in a household where I'm carnivore. My wife, she's not carnivore. And I just have to find ways to make it work. And she tries to find ways to, cook a certain meal for me while she's cooking something else for her. And we just she tries to support me in that way.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kip. That's a good point. Yeah.
Greg, how about you?
I think the big thing would be to, make sure you communicate with your spouse on what you're trying to do. Hopefully they're supporting you with your goals. Even if they disagree with you, they still support you. But if you do not have that support at home, I would definitely lean on a group, like people on YouTube or a Facebook group where there's going to be like-minded people that support what you're doing because they're doing it too. And I think that would help you, if you aren't getting the support at home that you need. I think that would be a benefit to you, but definitely need to communicate with your spouse and, try to get them on the same page as you. Not that they have to do what you're doing, but just as long as they support what you're doing, that's a big deal. But if they are not supporting you and what you're trying to do, I'm kind of like Kip, you need to probably relook at your situation, maybe go to some counseling, maybe they can mediate what's going on with your relationship, because there's probably bigger problems than just the non-supporting of the diet. So
yeah, so I'll say this. When I first started, it was interesting trying to explain it to my wife. She was like, yeah, you can do what you need to do, but I think that you might give yourself a heart attack or something, right?
Yeah.
Like the standard cliche stuff. And I'm the type of person, I do a lot of research, and I'm like, I've researched this and I explain different things. I explain, what I've heard about this from this doctor and so forth. And she's like, all right, I guess I get it, but I'm still not sure that, it's good. I guess we'll see how it goes. And what happened was she started to see me lose weight. She saw blood work come in and my numbers were getting better. And she was like, yeah, okay. So I guess you're right. This is a good thing. She has not gotten on board with doing it herself though. And, I hear the excuse of, I'm so used to eating carbs, I can't see not doing that. I don't like meat that much, some of the different excuses that you do hear. And, I'm the kind of person, I'm not going to push her to try and do it because I think that unless you're really ready to do something, you're not going to succeed at it. So, but the good thing is that over time of seeing my changes, seeing, the different health issues go away, the arthritis, the joint pain, the AFib that I have, all that kind of stuff, seeing those things go away, seeing me lose weight. She changed from her thinking that, it might give me a heart attack to now like, yeah, I mean, my numbers can, each time I've got my blood work checked, like, I guess since I've been carnivore here, probably 3 different times or whatever, and each time have continued to get better. So
yeah,
that's at least my own experiences there. I think the best, advice that I can give to you, Martin, is just try and lead by example. And, if she sees that you're doing better, you're losing weight, you're getting healthier. I think that hopefully, going back to like what Kip said and Greg said too, she'll see that and being your spouse, she's probably going to support you to a certain extent. Now, I will say this, that, that you could look at it as in supporting like for instance, my wife eats bad stuff, potato chips and so forth, that she brings in the house. I guess you could look at it as that's not very supportive. But if I were to go towards that stuff, she'd be like, no, you're not supposed to do that with your diet. If we want to go out to eat somewhere, she's very accommodating to going to a place that I would want to go, like a Texas Roadhouse or something, right? So she's accommodating in that way. But I could see where maybe you could say, well, she could be better at supporting me if she didn't have the junk food in the house, that kind of thing. So I kind of get that too. I don't know. But that's my suggestion there. I've fallen behind in the chat.
I was going to say, I do have a quick scoring update. The Raiders pounded the drums again. It's 28-0. The Raiders are beating the Chargers with 8:55 left to go in the second quarter.
Wow.
You know, you kind of got me thinking, Brian, whenever you were talking about that. You know, I kind of look at it like, you know, if let's say, for example, which my wife, she's not vegan or anything, but let's say that she decided tomorrow that she wanted to be a vegan or something like that. If she decided she wanted to do that and she felt with all of her heart that was the right thing to do, she couldn't just expect me to become a vegan and throw away everything that I believe. She couldn't be like, hey, you have to change your ways and this, that, and the other, or else she's going to kick me out, make me sleep outside of the house and get me a tent and live in the tent because I'm not a vegan like her. So people have to stop feeling like if my spouse doesn't do this the way I do it, that like that they're the problem, they're the enemy, they're the this, they're the that. No, they're an adult too. They're their own person. They can make their decision. And if you despise their decision so much, I mean, you have the ability to. I'm not for like ending relationships or anything, but you have the ability to make your own decisions and go on whatever path you want to do. But like, you just got to love your spouse and support your spouse, but you don't necessarily have to, it's got to be my way or the highway. It doesn't need to be like that.
Yeah. No controlling anyone else. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So we're getting ready here to bring in our next guest as well here. So, of course, Allison and Kip, you are welcome to continue to stay as long as you like. And let me see. Let's make sure I'm caught up. All right, I'm caught up. Let me go into our little intro thing that we do, our welcome. Where is it? I'm having trouble finding it. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. Comes the next guest.
Hey everybody!
Hi.
I love the little intro, you guys.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's new since the last time you were on, right?
Yeah, totally. I love it.
So, Christy, anybody that isn't familiar with you, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel, your YouTube channel?
Okay. Well, my YouTube channel is at Meeting Wellness, as you can see on the screen. And I named it that because I sort of started on keto. And then I say that I accidentally went carnivore because I was kind of like too lazy to cook the broccoli with the steak. And the steak was better. So just put that broccoli to the side and have a little extra ribeye or what have you. But when I did that, that's when I started noticing all these other benefits that I didn't get while I was on keto. And a lot of those were mental health benefits. So I had anxiety and that was very quickly gone. I had brain fog and that lifted. I had a calorie counter. I was really obsessed with calorie counting and all of that all the time. And that just went away. So I just thought, I've got to share this. I heard Kip saying this earlier, like, I've got to talk about this. This is crazy. And those things that I said that went away, I never even knew they were like symptoms. I never knew they were problems, you know, until they were gone. And then I was like, what is even happening right now? And so it was just such an amazing change that I thought I've got to start talking about this. People aren't going to see it in the 20 pounds that I lost. It's not a significant amount of weight. But they've got to know that there's more benefits to this than just weight loss, and I'm living proof of that, and I got to talk about it.
All right.
And Christy, don't worry about the fact that you haven't lost as much weight as some people. If people realize like how good you do with like your thumbnails and all that stuff, and like you sound so professional when you talk. So you're gonna end up with a lot of subscribers. Watch, I'm gonna say it right now. Christy's gonna end up with probably at least 50 to 100,000 subscribers at some point, because you can tell that you go the extra mile with stuff like that.
Oh, thanks, Kip. I appreciate it so much. I do work hard at this, but I also enjoy it at the same time. I never thought I'd be a YouTuber. If you would have told me that 4 months ago, I would have thought you were nuts. But yeah, I taught myself all the things, the thumbnail things, the editing things, all of that stuff. So thanks, Kip.
Absolutely.
So, Christy, I have a question for you. Our topic tonight is centered around diet challenges and tips for getting past those challenges. So what type of challenges have you experienced, and what kind of experiences from that can you share with our audience?
Well, I thought about this a lot and I have a few, but I think the one that was most challenging for me was when I went and got my blood work. Oh, thanks, Martin. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you. When I got my blood work, I did not expect to be a lean mass hyper responder. And that was barely even on the periphery of my knowledge, right? Like my proper human diet education, YouTube education from, starting with Dr. Berry and then Chafee and Hampton and Ben Bickman and all the researchers, right? And so then I get my blood results back. And, you think you're not going to care, right? You think to yourself before you get them back that it's fine, because everyone says it's fine. And everyone in this community says it doesn't matter. But like when it's you and your LDL cholesterol is like, it's so high that it just says like greater than 450. It doesn't even say a number. And then your doctor calls you 4 times within a few days and tells you like, this is literally the highest cholesterol I've ever seen, and you need to get on medicine right now or change your diet right now. It's not that I thought about taking medicine. That's not it. It's just all of that combined when it's staring you right in the face and it's your blood work. It's different. It hits different, right? And so I did not change my diet. I did not go on medicine. My doctor eventually, thank you, Champion Within. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I didn't go on medicine. I'm pretty sure my doctor fired me because eventually she just stopped calling. And I was a little concerned that she totally ignored a couple of other things on my blood work, like the fact that my triglyceride HDL triglyceride ratio is under 1. It's 0.85, which is awesome. And also the fact that I had a little wobble in my thyroid. She didn't even want to help me address that. And my vitamin D was a little bit low, which I feel confident that I can address the vitamin D, but like the thyroid, I don't know. And so I just felt like all she's going to focus on is this one LDL number, and like, is she serious? And then also, even the researchers will say, we don't like now, especially now with the new research that just came out, right? These lean mass hyper responders basically having 0 or practically 0 on their CAC calcium scores. That's amazing. But like, I don't have my calcium score. Eventually I'll probably go get one, but, that was good news for me, but it's still something that's in the middle of being studied. So it sort of makes you feel like, you're kind of, I don't know, in a petri dish or a test tube. You're like living on the edge, But I kind of just came back to, I'm going to take this into my own 2 hands. I'm not going to worry about her because I know meaning my doctor, because I know that she's a standard American doctor, right? She's doesn't even like, when I told her how I was eating, I think I'm the first carnivore she's ever met. She was like, wait, what? You don't eat any plants at all. Like she was like, that is fascinating. And I don't think she meant in a good way. So I know that she doesn't have the education, right? She that we have here even. But I just decided I'm going to take this into my own 2 hands. I went and got the particle density test. just for my own brain, just for my own, mental well-being about it, I guess you could say. And yeah, my LDL is the biggest, fluffiest LDL you could ever see. The small particles are so low that if it went any lower, the little arrow would fall off the end of the graph because it was at the bottom. So, I just thought, all right, I feel amazing. Like I've never felt better in my life. So, you got to weigh that stuff.
What did she say about that?
I'm sorry, go ahead. What?
I was curious what your doctor said about that whenever they seen those results.
Oh, well, she didn't, because I went through On Your Labs. And by the time I got that back, she was done. I even called and left a message, which she never returned. So like I said, I'm pretty sure she fired me, which I was going to fire her. So it was mutual. It was a mutual divorce. It's okay.
Yeah.
So we're done. But I am gonna, I've got to call. I did find 2 low carb doctors in my area. I've got to call them, see if they're taking new patients. I know I keep saying that. I just haven't done it. And I really don't know why, other than I'm not that worried about, like, I don't feel this pressing need now. Like I have the blood work. It's not going to change tomorrow. Right. I also know that if I put some carbs in there, based on the research, if I put in any carbs I wanted, even Oreos, not that I would do that. But us lean mass hyper responders, you put in a few carbs and the LDL just comes right back down to normal, like whatever that means, right? Mm-hmm. Within acceptable ranges. So I could change it if I wanted to change it. I will eventually go get a CAC test, and obviously, if that came back not looking too great, then I might consider changing some things. But until then, I've decided I'm feeling great, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah. But that was a challenge. That was like a mental hurdle. That was real, and people were very nice about it and supportive, Yeah.
I haven't done much research on that in a while, but I was going to ask you, from the research that you've done, has it been like where multiple people have said like they think it has something to do with like you didn't have a lot of weight to lose and like you were genuinely kind of healthy already and then start a carnivore? Is that something, or what are they suggesting may have caused one person to be or have that versus someone else?
So they have a hypothesis about it called the lipid energy model. And in one sense, Kip, you're right. It does happen in people like me who never really had a lot of weight to lose. And we go on this low carb diet and we get fat adapted and we don't have, a bunch of glycogen stored in our livers. And so we got to get energy some way. And so the way that happens is through this lipid transport through the body. And that's where the science in my brain, like I'm not really clear on it, but it's basically the LDL being transported through the body to, provide energy to the cells. That's the hypothesis. But it can also happen in people that start off with weight to lose. And then once they get to a lower weight, they will switch over and become a lean mass hyper responder. So the researchers have also seen that happen as well. So it can happen to anyone who just gets their BMI low enough and who is active. It doesn't happen to everyone, but if it's going to happen to you, it's generally because you're lean, low BMI, and you do a lot of physical activity.
So like our ancestors,
right?
Because we can't go back in time and do blood work on them, but what you're basically explaining is probably what some of their blood work would have looked like. Yes. Because they were chasing deer through the woods or chasing buffalo in this country, chasing buffalo in different places, like eating fish and berries and things like that. But it would be cool if we could go back in time and check some of their blood work, because I feel like what we're looking at as normal according to like modern medicine is probably not even normal to begin with. Because we've been eating tons of processed foods and things like that. So what they're basing normal off of is people eating a bunch of junk. And then so whenever you get super healthy and you just said you feel amazing, you feel incredible and things like that, and you've lost weight and you decided to keep doing it, you're probably closer to normal than a lot of people are, and that's probably what blood work looked like. More blood work would have looked like back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one thought that I also had that same thought. So thank you for saying it out loud. But yeah, I comforted myself with that thought. I did. I went through like a week and a half of just like, okay, like what am I going to do here? Like, what's the solution, or do I need a solution? Like, it was very, it was a challenge for me. Like, I'm better now. I've made my decision. Like I said, I've taken it into my own two hands. I'm doing what I can do. And if I ever get any evidence to the contrary, I might add in some berries or some other form of carbs, because if I do need to bring it down for any reason, I've done enough research, like I said already once, to know that I can, like, if I feel like, if I need to, but right now, I mean, I'm sprinting, I'm, doing all my stuff. I feel great. I have energy. So I'm just going to keep on going forward.
Yeah. And so the whole idea of LDL causing heart disease is somewhat problematic. And even the American Heart Association will say this. They will say, even with high LDL, if you have a CAC score of 0, you do not need to go on a statin.
Yeah.
So they're kind of saying that, in a sense, yeah, we know it's not always true that LDL is associated with a heart problem, right? And it's an association, not necessarily that it's a cause, right?
Right.
Because if it was a cause, it should happen every time somebody has high LDL, right? Like you have those numbers, you're supposed to have all kinds of plaque in your arteries and so forth. And then there are people that will have CAC score done and it's 0. Now the problem with the CAC is, if you didn't have it before you went to, let's say, low carb, carnivore, whatever, to know what your original score was, it could be that it's the same or better than what it used to be, but you don't know because you didn't have it done before, right? So let's say it isn't 0, but it's still a number that's same as it was before or even better, then you probably really don't need to go on a statin either. And then the whole question is, the statins really help? So it becomes this whole vicious cycle. But even the people that are promoting the statins kind of say, like, well, there's this association, but if even if you have that high LDL, if your CAC score is 0, you don't have any plaques, it's not a worry, it's not a concern. I don't know. So it's a very confusing thing, because you could go and debate this we could debate this the rest of this football game and for the next year. But,
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that I guess the research isn't totally settled, but as far as that goes, I heard, I don't know if it was Nick Norwitz or somebody talking about it and saying, ask your doctor questions like, how long do those plaques take to form? Now, I don't know the answer. That's the thing they didn't say. I want to know what that answer is, because I've been carnivore for 6 months and I'm pretty sure they're not forming in 6 months, and they're for sure not calcifying, I don't think, in 6 months. But that's the kind of questions they were saying to ask. When you're going in and talking about this stuff, with your doctor who may be skeptical. But yeah, so to your point, Brian, if I did go in and have some calcium in there, I don't think it happened in the last 6 months.
Yeah. And now I don't know anybody that had the CAC done, but I know someone that had another type of test done, and that one didn't show any type of plaque or anything for them. And they said that if you don't have any now, it's going to be at least 3 to 5 years before you're going to see any. So yeah, it's not something that within 6 months of doing a carnivore diet that you're going to see that.
Yeah. I had a CAC done in May, and it was 0.
Awesome.
And my cholesterol, they say that we have familial hypercholesterolemia, which, if you base that on a parent that is, has a metabolic syndrome, has a lot of metabolic issues, I don't think that's considered true familial links. But my cholesterol my total was, higher than they wanted. It was 250, which that's not that bad. But my triglycerides were great.
Less than half of mine, Allison. What are you?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Actually, in May, it was 395, but I had fasted. Well, I had fasted for, I think this is what happened. I had fasted for like 20 hours or like 24 hours because I was like, more fasting is better for these lab work. And that's not the case, especially not with cholesterol. It'll spike it. But my nurse practitioner was like, what is happening? And she's like, you need a statin. And I said, no, I don't. But she's really great. She's great. So she ordered the CAC because, you have to have, or sometimes you have to have some of those diagnoses or whatever. And I came back and I was like, see, I have no plaque. So it's 0. Somebody I do know that I'm close with had a moderate score. But they said, we're not going to check it again for a year because it doesn't usually happen. And it's over a 10-year span. It increases. No, is that right? Yeah. It increases your likelihood of having a heart issue by 10% or something. But they were like, don't come back and have that redone until it's been a year. And so we'll see if it has improved. That'd be great if it's actually improved. But as long as it's not getting worse, that's the dream. That's the dream. That's what you want. You just don't want the damage to continue. But mine was 0. And I had a pretty, I had a high one. So yeah. So I was excited. I was like, yes.
You're doing it.
Yes.
Christy, I gotta commend you for being willing to, I don't know if this is the right terminology, but being willing to be the guinea pig, because I mean, I think it's cool. Like for me, I've decided in my family that I mean, there's always a chance doing something like this that, like, what if we're wrong? What if we think we've figured it out, but we're actually wrong? But I would rather, because I feel like we're on to something. And with carnivore in general, or even keto, I feel like we're really on to something that, like, it's taken the government a long time to figure out, or maybe they even know about it and they're not saying anything. And it's taken the health industry and the food industry. They don't want to say anything, but I feel like we're really on to something. But I'm willing to be that guinea pig for my family because, I mean, yes, there's a chance that I might be wrong, but what if I'm right? Like, if I'm right, then my kids are going to see this, and my grandkids are going to see this, and whoever, they're going to see this, and it can change the lives of so many people in my family after me because I took this chance and decided to give this a real try to see long-term what's going to happen. And so I commend you for being willing to, even though, because I'm sure the doctors scare you whenever you talk about the cholesterol being that high and stuff like that. So I know that took courage to decide to keep doing this.
Well, I mean, because she legit said it was the highest one she's ever seen. And she's in her 50s. We're not talking like she's just out of med school and I'm the first cholesterol score she's ever, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's seen a lot of cholesterol scores.
Yeah.
So I win. Yay me, But so no, but that was a little, it was hard to hear, even though I knew she's a standard American, like, but then they look you right in your own 2 eyes and say that to you. It's just different. But yeah, Kip, I watched my dad go on this slow decline, and he was like the poster child for standard American diet, going on a statin, thinking eat less, move more was the way to go, and ending up with type 2 diabetes and dying of Alzheimer's. So that didn't work. So what else am I going to, you know what I mean? Am I going to do that? That's just, I mean, why? I watched him go through a horrible last 10 years of his life. That's not it. So it's got to be something else, right? And I think you're right, Kip. I think we're on to something. And in the meantime, I feel absolutely amazing. I say it all the time. I'm heading in for sure. I'm in the second half of my life, and I have more energy, more, like a zest for life. I'm doing all this like fitness. I have energy to be a mom and do stuff with my kids that I didn't have before. And so why would I do it any other way?
Well, because there's only so many food groups out there. Like, there's only so many food groups to choose from. So eventually somebody has to figure it out. Like, what's the proper food for health? And
Right.
so that's why I feel like by doing this, whether it be keto or carnivore, I really just think getting the sugar and getting the carbs out and getting the seed oils and stuff like that out is, I really feel like that's the answer. You can go to carnivore if you want to, or you can stick with keto if you want to, but to be as low carb as possible, I really feel like that is the key for so many people.
Yeah, and the processed food too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, this is funny because I had a video that I came out with earlier today, kind of talking a little bit about this. You know, there's people out there that'll say like, oh, you know, carnivore or low carb is not good for you long term. You know, you're going to cause problems for yourself long term. And I guess for everybody, there's the question that you have to look at. And for me, you know, looking at this question, the question is, you know, would you rather take the risk of potentially living a shorter lifespan because we don't know the long term on carnivore really? To an extent, yeah, there's some people that have been doing it for a long time, but there's not very many people, right? Or would you rather live a longer life but have the health that you had before carnivore? So like for me, like there's so many things that I fixed. I fixed arthritis, joint pain, low energy. I had AFib, so that's, you know, a heart condition. Just minor depression, not really bad, but minor depression. Just so many different things like that, right? And of course, I was quite a bit overweight. And I lost a lot of weight, and all those things are gone. Like I don't have any issues with joint pain anymore, or arthritis. I haven't had an AFib episode in like 15, 16 months, whatever it is now. I've gotten off those medications. My blood pressure is better. So to me, yeah, I'm willing to take the risk that there could potentially be a shorter lifespan for a higher quality of life, because I don't know that it would be that fun to have a longer lifespan with the way that I was feeling. Because I got to tell you, before I came to this, I really felt like I was going down the wrong path and that I wasn't going to even live that much longer, just with the way I felt and so forth. So I guess that kind of becomes the question, right? Because we don't, and you know, any type of study that's out there, you don't really necessarily know. You can pick apart just about any study that's out there. There's not a good way to say we're going to take these two people that are exactly identical, put them into a room, and this person going to eat this way, this person is going to eat that way, and everything else they do is going to be exactly the same. Their genetics are all the same and all that. There's no way to do that, right? And it's never going to happen. But you know, we don't really have experiences unless you go back and say, looking back at our ancestors, of people that ate this way. So I get that you're taking a little bit of a risk, but to me, at least, it's such a better quality of life that I'm going to take that risk.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no kind of life to wake up feeling exhausted, be looking forward to the next time you can just be sleeping. Because that's what I was doing. And then I would sleep, and then I'd wake up feeling just as exhausted. Like it didn't help me because I was still tired. I'd like get up and go to work and then come home and sit on the couch and just like nobody talk to me. I'm closed, right? That was it. I was done for the day. So that was terrible. I don't want to go back to feeling like that.
That's me. That's me after Thanksgiving.
Turkey hangover.
Stuck on the couch.
So Greg, do you have another scoring update? It sounds like they've been just scoring.
Yeah, the Raiders just scored again. It's the 42-0 with 31 seconds left is when they scored. So it's almost halftime and a major blowout.
Wow.
All right, so we have a question here from Underrated 17. Do you think it's okay to eat just fish instead of meat on carnivore or low carb? So Christy, as the latest guest that came on, let's go to you first. What are your thoughts on that?
So my thoughts are, if eating fish on a carnivore diet is what makes you feel the best, then more power to you on that. It's full of omega-3s and all kinds of other really good stuff. I personally don't like seafood, so I incorporate no fish. And I just recently started taking an omega-3 supplement just to see if that would improve, because I'm constantly sort of tweaking things. I heard Allison talking about that earlier. Even though things are limited, you still got to sort of tweak things and kind of do your N=1. I would think that if I only ate fish and didn't incorporate a heck of a lot of fat with it, I would tend to get myself into trouble. So I would make sure that it's fatty fish and that you're getting plenty of it. I would also add that for myself, for my own N=1, I feel the best on beef. So there was one time, and I know this isn't fish, but I don't eat fish, so I'm going to tell you my experience with pork. So I made a pork shoulder. It was delicious. I made it in the crock pot. It was a lot of it. It was delicious. And I ate that because it was so much of it. I ate it for like maybe 2 or 3 days. And then I just started feeling like sluggish and gross. And then I was just like, I need a ribeye. I need a ribeye right now. And then it was like, I didn't have a ribeye, but I had some flanken ribs. I'm sitting on the couch and I eat my flanken ribs. I'm like, these are so good. And then in about 20 minutes after I ate those ribs, it was like somebody just turned up the energy button. I was like, there it is. Whoa, I'm back on the beef, baby.
I have to say that Kip probably will be the first to tell you that your first problem was the crock pot, right?
I had just put a comment in the chat and said crock pot, ew.
Kip and I have already talked about this, Kip, and I think you need to come to my house and bring your smoker, because I don't have one, and I don't have all that cool stuff. Okay.
Look, if you're gonna be carnivore, you have to eventually save up money for a smoker, because
he's gonna revoke my carnivore card, y'all. Kip, I thought you were correct.
Yeah, you're not carnivore anymore. No. But the thing is, like, if you're going to be carnivore, you're going to be eating a lot of meat for the next however many years. So like eventually you have to break down and invest in a smoker. Okay, even if it's something like a easy to use smoker, like a pellet grill or something like that. You got to do it at some point because it makes the best meat.
All right, I will take that under advisement. For sure.
You'll be glad you did.
I'm sure I will. I forgot what I was saying. Okay, so for me, underrated 17, beef is king for me personally. But if you know, to me, carnivore is like whatever meat you like and whatever meat you feel best on, and make sure to get enough fat. Mm-hmm. And keep doing your N=1 and just see what your body responds to. So that's my answer. I'm gonna let somebody else talk.
All right, Ellison, would you like to take a stab at it?
Yeah, I think, if that's what's sustainable for you, go for it. But really watch that fat intake, because unless you're just eating a lot of fatty fish, I don't eat a ton of fish at all. So I would just be so concerned about getting enough fat. And but I think there's definitely a lot of variety, with seafood. Yeah. So the fat, that would make me nervous about that, but that's it, That's it.
And I would say kind of going with all of y'all, but definitely what Allison was saying, making sure that your fat intake is up. Like if you're going to be eating fish, make sure that it's fatty. I mean, like when people talk about the Inuit and stuff, eating a lot of like, fish and different things like that, it's a lot of fatty stuff and like whale blubber and things like that. So if you're going to be eating fish, make sure that it's as fatty as possible. And but I think that for me, like Christy said, I feel the best when I eat beef. Like I love fish. I love all kind of seafood. Like I love shrimp, crawfish, crab, everything, lobster, you name it. I love it. But whenever I eat beef, I feel incredible, especially when I eat like ribeyes. I can tell the difference when I eat a ribeye than if I eat hamburger meat. Even though I like hamburger meat, I love smoked burgers and stuff like that. But whenever I eat hamburger meat, I get hungrier faster than if I ate the same quantity of ribeye. I feel like there's something different nutritionally from that ribeye that I can't explain. Maybe I'm just thinking it in my mind, but for me, I feel like there's a different level of nutrition from that ribeye than there is from that hamburger meat. And so for me, but I feel like beef is king. But if you can't do beef, if you can't do any of that other, which I'm not saying you can't do any other carnivore meat, you can do that as well. But you can do seafood, but you just got to watch that fat intake if you're going to do it.
I'd say 100%, Kip. I've noticed the same thing between ground beef and ribeye. It's so weird, and I don't know, because I've even tried like fattier ground beef. It just doesn't fill me up for as long as a nice, good ribeye will.
It's not the same.
Yeah. So, Greg, what's your take on this question?
Kind of like the others, as far as, make sure you eat fat enough, get enough fat, eat a variety of fish if you're going to do that. I still kind of a believer that you should probably eat some other meats to get the other natural nutrients and vitamins that are coming in other meats. So I guess I'm one to say I'd mix it up a little just to get all your nutrients that you need. But you're going to do what you want to do on that. So, keep that in mind, but definitely going to want to fatten the fish up for sure.
Yeah. And so I agree with a lot that was said here. Again, the whole fish thing, you want to make sure that it's fatty. There are some fish that can be pretty lean. And I was going to say that if the thought process was that maybe, because there's some people out there that say that they just can't really eat meat. They don't like eating meat.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed is that there are people that have said that, and then they went to the carnivore diet, and the next thing you know, they were craving the meat.
Yeah.
So your taste buds will change. But I did see that she just, I don't know if it's male or female actually, but Underrated 17 have posted, they feel best with ruined animals too, but it would like to reduce suffering of land animals, sometimes feel better. So, that kind of goes back to, like, if you think about like our ancestors, right? They didn't just kill for sport, they killed for the need to nourish their bodies. And so think of it that way, is that, you're eating the meat that you're eating it's not for sport, it's for, your body to get the energy that it needs to, continue throughout the day and so forth. And you hear different stories like Native Americans and so forth. They were very big about that, the not killing for sport, and blessing their food and that kind of stuff, that and thanking the animal that they did have to kill for that meat and so forth. So the other thing I'll say is, I hear this a lot, and I've heard it mentioned already a couple of times here, and it's the same thing with me. Beef seems to be the thing. Like, everybody seems to feel better when they're just eating beef. I noticed the same thing when I was just doing red meat and water. I did that really strictly for at least a good month and a half or so in the spring, and I felt my best when I was doing that. So a lot of times I'll come back to it. I do like to have chicken wings and different things like that. I have pork and so forth, bacon, eggs, but I always feel my best when I'm just eating the beef. So I'm
actually part of the Native American tribe, even though I don't look it, but I live like 2 miles from our Indian reservation here in South Alabama, the Porch Creek Indians. And, you're right about the ancestors. They ate tons of buffalo and things like that, and deer and like ruminant animals, and they were fine. And earlier in the chat, when you were talking about tracking, a while back, I made, like, a lot of people thought it was funny, but I was being serious and also cracking a joke at the same time about people were talking about, you track this, you track that. I'm like, of course our ancestors tracked. I track my meat through the woods, and eat it. And because I mean, I know it sounds simple and funny and things like that, but like our ancestors, they didn't have all these different things to track this, that, and the other. They just got out there and they hunted for meat to survive. And a lot of times it was red meat. And a lot of times it was fish too, like at the creeks, at the rivers, at the things like that. They may have had some chicken. I'm not sure. I hadn't done too much research on if they had raised lots of chickens or anything. But I know that there was plenty of deer, there was plenty of buffalo, and there's always been fish in the water. So they ate a lot of that stuff whenever they could get their hands on it. And they weren't picky for which one they could get. They was just happy to have food.
Yeah. So I'm going to say hi to a couple of people that joined in on the chat. My Apex Odyssey, hello. And Homesick Buckeye. Shout out to the family.
Oh, Russ.
Russ was just on last week, was it? Or a couple weeks ago? Something like that. A couple weeks ago. I can't remember. We had him on. Yep. I think I'm caught up.
Ellie popped in too.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Hi, Ellie.
I haven't talked to Ellie yet. I need to talk to her one day.
She's so nice.
I wonder if elephant tastes delicious. Oh, idea. If anybody has a question for any of us, go ahead and put it in the chat with a couple of cues in the front so that we know that you're asking a question, and we'll be glad to answer your question. Greg, I'm guessing we're at halftime now. It's 42-0.
Yep, 42-0 halftime.
Wow. What happened to the Chargers?
Man, they're getting spanked.
So much for that.
They're turning over the ball.
So much for that Battle of California rivalry, huh?
Yeah.
There you go, Kip. Ellie said she'd love to chat with you.
Let's see. I was reading that. Yeah, I would love to chat with her one day. Definitely. We need to I need to look up her email or whatever and get up with her at some point, or she can email me. Might be best if she emails me because I'm a guy and I'm super forgetful. People think I'm terrible because I don't always email all these people. I'm like, look, I'm not thinking about it. I need somebody to, like, my wife plans everything. Anytime I'm like scheduling something, I'm like, hey babe, can I are we good for this day? Can I do this day? And she's like, sure, why not?
That's a good marriage tip, just to check with the wife before you do something.
So she's asking, Chip, if your email's on your account.
It is on my account if you want to email me.
Yeah, I don't even flinch when somebody types it out, brain. That's happened my entire life. So, yeah. All right, we got a question here. Kip, I live in a very small apartment and I can't have an outdoor smoker. I saw they have a stovetop one, but not sure about the smoke output of those suggestions.
I would have to do a lot of research on it because my first thought for me is like, if it's inside, it's not. To me, I'm more of like a real smoker kind of person outside. Like you smoke meat outside, but I mean, there may be some ways that people have come up with nowadays. Like I know some people use electric smokers and things like that. I definitely can't stand the taste of liquid smoke. People try to do stuff in their oven and use liquid smoke. No, that right there, I know that is like a huge fake. I can't stand it. But do some research. I would, just like anything, watch you some YouTube videos and get recommendations from people, because it's going to be hard for me to recommend one of those because like that's so far out of what I do with barbecue that like I don't want to lead you in the wrong way.
And Russ says a smoker that doesn't smoke is just let's see. My Apex Odyssey has a question. y'all ever get tired of having to eat? I mean, I still get hungry. I'm just so disinterested in food. It's aggravating to have to prepare and eat it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go backwards, and we're going to ask Greg first this time. What did you think about that question?
Yeah, I think there's times where I felt that way. You know, for sure, where I didn't feel like I wanted to really eat anything, but I enjoy cooking. So, I mean, I guess I don't mind, especially even tonight, you know, we had a 50-degree, or it was like mid 40s today in Northern Iowa, which is warm. I mean, it felt pretty good today. I mean, I didn't even wear a coat. I went out to the griddle and cooked up some 2.5 pounds of bacon and some ground beef and some, stew meat for some carnivore chili. So it was pretty tasty, I must say. So I don't know. It's one of those things, I guess I look forward to supper. I'm always hungry at supper time. So I don't have that problem, but there is times where I'm less hungrier than others, usually in the summertime. But now with winter coming on, I don't know. I guess I have an appetite.
All right, Kip.
I don't want this to sound too much like a smoker commercial, but whenever I cook my meat on a smoker or on a grill, I never get tired of it. Like, I mean, it's one thing when you're cooking your hamburger meat in the oven or in a pan on the skillet on the stove, but that awesome smoke flavor that you can get, like when I have that on like smoked meat, whether it be a chuck roast or smoked ribeyes or whatever, even smoked hamburgers, like I could eat that every day and I smile just as big each time whenever I take a bite. Like if I'm hungry and I take a bite of that, I'm like, yeah, you can't get that at a restaurant. And so I just don't get tired of that. Get you a smoker.
All right, Ellison.
Yeah, actually, this has been happening to me lately. I still enjoy the food, what I eat, but it does feel like a task more now. Like you know, you gotta take a shower or whatever. I'm like, oh, I gotta eat because you know I do get hungry, but it's usually like you know hours between when I get hungry, and I'm like, oh no, I gotta stop and eat. So I can't believe that is something that happens to me, but I do kind of get tired of like, oh, I'm hungry, I gotta eat, you know, and then go in there and make some food. I won't say how because Kip would get real upset and he would be sad because you know I don't like.
Did you use an air fryer?
Yeah, I do. But I gotta feed these people somehow. I gotta feed myself somehow. So it's better than nothing. But and like I said, I enjoy the food that I eat, but I do to kind of get tired of having to eat, which is crazy to say.
Christy.
So my initial thought was, heck no, like give me all the ribeyes and picanhas, right? That was my initial. But then I thought about it. Picanha. I said, Ellie, I can't go live without saying picanha at least once. Okay. Right. So I got that in there. But no, but then I thought about, so you know, I'm a teacher, right? And so I get done and I get home sometime between 3 and 3:30. And then I usually, most nights I have a live, right? And it's going to start at 5 and I try to be on a little bit early. So it's like, I do get annoyed that it's like, I'm hungry, but it's like, okay, but I'm going to want to cook a steak, but then I'm like, I got to eat it. Like there's not enough time. And it's like, do I do it now? Do I do it later? And I'm just annoyed that I'm hungry. Yeah. And I have to do that right then. Because I do wait till I get home. Cause you know, when I'm teaching, I just take stuff that's not my favorite, but it's convenient, you know, like hard boiled eggs or whatever. And I just have a couple to get me through the day. And then, but you know, if I don't have, like tonight, I didn't come on till much later. So it was nice. It was like, I can come home and like, I can leisurely cook my ribeye and in my cast iron tip. Is that good enough for you?
Cast iron is the next best thing to having a smoker or a grill. And Christy, now that you mentioned picanha, I'm gonna have to cook some picanha for you and make a video on it.
Oh, please.
Whoa.
That would make my day if I saw that. Do you put that picanha in a smoker? Is that something you can put in the smoker?
Absolutely, you can put anything in a smoker.
Well, yeah, there's that.
I back in the day I used to smoke cookies. I used to smoke
Oh my
cookies,
gosh.
smoke pizza, smoke all kind of stuff. So yeah.
What
But,
about
yeah.
apple pie? Apple pie?
I have done smoked apple pie. Like even whenever, like I told you, I was wild and out there for Thanksgiving, so we did pecan pies and I put them in the smoker.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So I don't say that I get tired of eating, but it is like, I'm excited for like the next thing I have to do in my life. And I'm like annoyed that, yes, I'm hungry, but I've only got this small window of time and I wish I could just skip, or whatever. I don't know. So I do feel that way sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hello, Deb. I think we got a question here. Is smoked meat healthy? Is it carcinogenic or charcoal? I too like the taste. So yeah, I don't think it's a problem. I think you'd have to be talking about like a lot of really, smoking food all the time type thing to even start worrying about that. But Kip, since you're the resident expert on using a smoker, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, if you're standing over the smokestack inhaling the smoke the whole time that the meat's cooking, then it would probably kill you. But people have smoked meat for years, way before they came out with like all these different cooking things that you see on TV and all these different devices that we have now. And all those are great for convenience, but people have been smoking meat over fire for like the first time somebody cooked, it was over an open flame.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been having smoke houses for years and people have been perfectly fine. And if burnt wood's gonna kill you, like I'd be dead already because I smoke meat all the time. So like I'm not stopping smoking meat. Like that's like part of who I am. And so like I would rather die than you take away my smokers.
All right. Anybody else want to jump in on that one? No?
I just don't know because I don't own a smoker. I'm going to get one smoker and then Kip's going to be like, now you need two smokers.
The only thing better than one smoker's two.
That's right.
So John says he's in Iowa tonight, and yes, he did forget to stop and pick me up, which is disappointing because I wanted to see the ugly Christmas sweater in person, but though he won. So we had the ugly sweater holiday party, whatever, and his sweater actually won. He had the best sweater, so
that was fun.
Yeah,
I get to wear my sweater again tomorrow because tomorrow's ugly sweater day at school. So the reindeer cat will make another appearance. We'll see if my students like it.
and since it'll be at school, you won't have to worry about your cat.
Yeah.
I have a bruise on my arm. Like she put her full weight behind that one. Like the next day, I'm like, what's that? I'm like, oh my gosh, that's where Pixel like decided she wanted my sweater.
That's funny. Hello, Aid. I hope I'm saying this right. Aid. Anybody know?
I don't know, but hi, Aid. I'll say it the way
I hope that's right.
Aid is awesome. Aid is an awesome person. Aid has been a supporter of my channel since pretty much the beginning and has always cheered me on and told me when I'm doing things wrong, Aid will let me know. Aid is just, I appreciate Aid so much. So thank you for being here, Aid, for sure.
All right. Greg, I saw
it says yes.
You had another scoring update. They scored again, huh?
Yeah, it's 49-0.
Oh,
crazy.
Russ says if you want to see John's sweater in person, you can go over to the and see what there. Oh.
I think he said it was a lady's sweater too.
It was. I think that's why he won. He had that extra. Oh man.
So guys, I'm gonna be the one that hops off of here first, mainly because I'm the one with a 2-year-old. Well, she's not quite 2 yet, but I'm the one with a toddler. So I try to get a little bit of sleep if I can. But I just want to say thank y'all for having me on tonight, and y'all stay on here and chat as long as y'all want to. And for any of my subscribers that are watching, please go to each channel and subscribe to their channels. All of these people are amazing and helping so many people. I was so excited to hear them have Allison on here. And I just talked to Christy recently. I was so excited to have her on here too. And I hope everyone has a great evening. And thank y'all for having me on here.
Thanks a bunch, Kip. It's good
it was
seeing
so
you, buddy.
To see you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I look forward to hearing from Ellie soon too, because I haven't talked to her yet. Y'all take care.
See you, Kip.
All right.
See you, Kip.
Bye, Kip.
All right. I'm going to remind everyone that if you have any questions for us, just go ahead and put it in the chat with a couple cues in the front so that we can easily identify that it's a question. Everybody in here just saying goodbye to Kip.
Oh, Russ, what am I going to do with
Russ.
you? Russ? You're not even here, so I can't zing you back. It's not as fun.
Christy's okay, I guess.
I guess. Russ is all right. You know, if I can't get Dr. Hampton. Oh, I brought Dr. Hampton into it, Russ.
So Deb says she gets annoyed that she has to cook every meal. You know, it's funny. I was just thinking that the other day, like I was hungry, and so I ate a pretty big meal earlier in the day, and then for evening time, dinner, whatever, you know, I was starting to get hungry again. So I was like looking, I was like, man, I really don't want to cook. Why can't the burger just be cooked already for me? So yeah, I get it. I ended up cooking something anyway. I think I made bacon or something. So
hey, we have a scoring update again.
Oh my gosh.
The Chargers scored.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Okay, so they're not getting skunked at
So
least.
it's 49-7. I missed how they scored, but they just kicked the extra point. So
Is Russ going to
Going
detention?
to detention. Yes, he is. He's suspended. Russ, just no.
Oh, I love this. 7 days without beef. 7 days without beef makes 1 week. Can't even say it.
Love it. Good pun. That's a good pun, Aid.
That's a good T-shirt.
It is a good T-shirt.
It would be. And you know what else? It's what we're almost 2.5 hours in, and I have not maxed my microphone over. I did not. Did I? I don't think I did.
No, and I asked you to. I said I want to see it because I've never seen you do it because I always hear Greg teasing you, and I've never seen it though.
This is crazy. You know, I've been working on a blooper reel that I'm gonna post on my channel. You're gonna see a lot of microphones getting knocked over in the blooper reel. Let me tell you.
Okay, all right. I will look forward to that.
Maybe it's that, you know, when you ate the sardines the other night, maybe some of that got a little stickiness to that microphone and now it's staying on there just fine.
Oh, I cleaned that all very good. Yeah. There was all kinds of cleaning. Air freshener was being sprayed all over. That was interesting. Oh,
so did Allison get a chance to tell us a little bit about her channel? I'm trying to remember. I think we went right into the food bit, but maybe Allison, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your channel and what you like to do over there, or what you're working on, or what you got coming up.
Let's see. I am going to do a couple videos coming up on, you know, Christmas get-togethers. Nothing too fancy, nothing too in depth. But I started my channel. I wanted to talk about, you know, what I saw as the great benefits of the mental health and autoimmune illness, you know, that the help that I had gotten with that, especially with the anxiety, because it was about 2 months in and I realized my anxiety had improved so much. And so I just started, you know, talking about it, and because I really wanted to get the message out there to try, because I never associated eating, what you eat can affect mental health or autoimmune issues. Obviously I did with, like, you know, obesity and diabetes, that kind of thing, but not anything else, not skin stuff, you know, none of that stuff. So I just wanted to start a channel. And I did just put out a video last week on longevity. And because I do want to be, it's like you were saying earlier, Brian, I want to be able to do things when I'm older. And, you know, a lot of people in my parents' age, right, in their mid 70s, early 70s, late 60s, they are having all of these issues that, like, I don't remember my grandparents having these types of issues. And I don't want to, you know, I want to be more like my grandparents and be able to live independently and move without pain, that kind of thing. But somebody did comment on my longevity video that, you know, longevity could be even to like 100, 115. And I was like, I don't want to live that long. You know, that's a little too long for me because, you know, for many reasons. But, and it was like you were saying earlier, Brian, about I'll take my chances. You know, I feel so much better. And if I do develop something, because yeah, there really aren't any studies on, you know, many years of a carnivore diet or a meat-based, whatever. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So.
Yeah. Well, something with your story,
Yeah,
Allison,
those are some of the things I talk about. I do talk about.
I was just going to say something in your story resonates with people because your episode of Linus Lifestyle on my channel has gotten over 1,400.
Yeah, that's amazing.
My channel is little, so I usually don't get 1,400 views on a video.
Yeah.
And it just, all of a sudden it just took off. So, you know, you talked about your autoimmune. I don't, you know, so you talked about that stuff and then the longevity thing, like all that stuff you just touched on, you went into detail about on that episode. And I think that that's fantastic that your channel is about that because it clearly resonated.
Yeah.
You know, that was pretty cool.
I know that was very cool. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know why, you know, I can't figure out why, but I guess because, you know, when you're in, like, I didn't realize how, I did know my anxiety was really high, but I didn't realize how many years, it's probably been 10 years that I was just going through life, you know, just going from one thing to another. And I didn't have like clinical depression or anything the last 10 years, but I just didn't realize how depressed I was just overall. You know, I never wanted to get up. I always wanted to stay in bed and as long as possible. I always wanted to just sit and veg out in front of the TV and just watch Netflix and streaming networks and that kind of thing. And now I still watch some shows, but it's more, you know, a family time, or with my husband or whatever. It's not just mindless watching, streaming. I wake up and I get up and, you know, I'm excited about things, that kind of thing. And you just don't realize. And it's because that's just what you think getting older is now.
Right.
And everyone around you is feeling the same way. And, it's just been interesting, how it changed my life. It just completely changed my life. And so, yeah, I just try to talk about the things that, you know, that are relevant to me. And I think that it's usually can be relatable to, you know, for other people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
I want to go back to a comment that I missed. This was a good point, Susan.
Mm-hmm.
I usually try to cook enough, so I only cook every other day. That's a good idea. You know, if you're not really into cooking all the time, prepare your meals ahead of time. And some people even cook like for their whole week ahead of time, and then they just warm it up, you know. So that's a good idea. Eric had posted here a new channel alert, and I just went to check it out. So let me, I'm going to share it on here real quick so everybody can see it.
We love promoting new channels on this show because we just like to support everybody, I guess. And, you know, everybody had to start somewhere. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. So here's his channel, Josh's Weight Loss Diary. He does only have 75 subscribers right now. He's doing carnivore. Looks like he's on day 17. Well, probably day 18 now is today. So give him a look and check out his channel, and looks pretty good. So I'm gonna definitely check it out. So everybody else, check it out. Let me actually put, so we have the right name. I'll put it in the chat here. And I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'll put it in the chat. This is his actual channel name. Go to. So check that out. Thanks, Eric. Bring that up to us. All right. So I see Deb's asking Susan if she's not eat eggs. So what did I miss? Oh, because she was talking about the cooking twice or once every couple days, I guess. Okay. I definitely eat eggs. I'm not a big egg fan, but I will eat eggs here and there. I had eggs today for dinner, actually. I had 4 eggs and like a half a pound of bacon for dinner.
I had a lot of eggs.
Yeah, I do too.
I had about 2 pounds of meat earlier though in the day, so I didn't eat as much. I didn't eat as much at dinner time. Yeah, I had like a 20-ounce New York strip and 2 ground beef burger patties. So between the two, burger patties and the steak, that was like 2 pounds of meat that I had earlier. And I was thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna have to eat again. And then I kind of got hungry again, and I was like, I'm not that hungry, but I'm gonna be really hungry probably when we're doing the live stream. So I did up 4 eggs and half a pound of bacon.
Yeah.
That's a good question though. Ellison, what's a typical day of eating like for you?
Okay, so I try to eat about 5 eggs and butter in the morning for breakfast. I usually eat at least 2 times a day. I cannot eat enough for just OMAD. I've had to actually track because I was chronically under eating, which is really common, especially for women that have, calorie restricted for a long time. So I don't want to undereat because it wrecks my hormones. And so I get up and I have 5 eggs typically. And then I have, like, sometimes I'll make a casserole, which is just eggs and ground beef together. And, but we usually have steak about once a week, burger patties, 3 to 4 burger patties in the evening. I cannot eat a lot of meat at one time. So that's why I have to kind of break it up. So I eat bacon, we eat chuck roast. What else? Bacon. I always think, I don't know what else I eat, but that's about it. That's a typical day. What did I eat today? So this morning I actually had beef sausage. I had never seen beef sausage, but we found a new butcher and we like it, and they source locally, so that's great. And they had beef sausage, so we got that, and I had eggs. And then I worked today, so I don't eat at work because it's too chaotic. When I got home, I had 4 eggs and some more beef sausage, and 2 hamburger patties before I came on here. So that's pretty good. I do, like I said, I do track protein and fat, just because obviously just those 2 things, but so that I make sure I'm eating enough. And if I can eat a lot of calories now, and it doesn't affect my weight loss or make me gain or anything like that. But that I had to work up to that because I could not eat a lot in one setting. And then I was fasting more, doing a lot more fasting. So like I started having some shedding, my hair started shedding. I started feeling kind of poorly, so I've had to like kind of watch for those kinds of issues. And I have thyroid issues. So I've got to watch, I have to keep that in in mind. So
Yep, definitely. No, that's great. I was just looking at a couple more comments. Brian can post them up, but I can't. But the champion within, he said he has bacon and eggs every day for 46 consecutive days now.
My son needs my help, you guys. So I got to go help my son.
Okay. Yep.
Sorry.
We'll be here. So then he said, I can't believe he's not tired of it yet after 46 days in a row. And I love bacon and eggs. I can eat eggs especially. I can eat eggs every day. No problem.
yeah.
Just put some butter in there and I'm good to go.
Yeah. And it's fast. They're fast.
Yeah.
Quick and easy.
Hard-boiled eggs I like too.
Yeah.
All right. Works too. So that's awesome. Hard-boiled eggs, I find are very satisfying. They really takes care of the hunger cravings that you might have. If I eat one of those in the morning, I'm good for all day. It's kind of crazy, but it seems to work.
Yeah.
I love hard-boiled eggs. They're great. I have no idea what's going on tonight. It's like, I don't know.
We can see you just fine and hear you. So
yeah, I don't know what happened. Like, everything dropped. But I could still hear. I could hear Ellison talking, but I couldn't talk. My mic was saying that it was muted, and my camera went off. My monitor turned off at one point. I was like, "What the?" So it's like I got a ghost going on or something.
Maybe you better knock your mic over.
Right.
I don't know what is going on here. See, now I probably will knock it over because Christy's not here watching.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I've been eating chicken thighs too, and I've never in my life, I don't think I ever had chicken thighs, but I have been eating chicken thighs. And I realized, because I was like, what else do I eat? I know I eat some other, a couple other things, but I do like them better when they're boneless.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really good. My kids like that. So that's good. We all like that. So yeah, chicken thighs too. I never eat chicken breasts. No, never would I eat that because I can't cook it well enough to be, where it's juicy or whatever. So it's always dry and terrible when I do it. So, but chicken thighs I can do. And you know what? The unsung hero in carnivore, I don't know why, but you never hear about ham very often. You don't hear people talking about eating ham, which I don't eat it that much, but I like it. And I wonder why.
I sometimes ham has sugar on it. I know that could be the why it gets a bad rap from that. But, if you pick out the right one, there's not very much for carbs in there. So, and I consider carnivore less than 5 grams of carbs, personally. A lot of people say it's 0, but it's like, well, you could argue it's like 5 or less, 10 or less is more ketovore. But, it's what you call it, I guess, I'm not going to get bent out of shape on it. Yeah. I'm not the carnivore police.
Yeah.
Corned beef is another one that you don't hear a lot. And I've had it a few times. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I will say though, chicken thighs, I do eat chicken thighs sometimes. But I've been buying a lot of chicken thighs for my dog because my dog is eating carnivore now.
Yeah.
And what I do is because the dogs need a little bit leaner of a meal. So I take the chicken skins off and I cook them in the oven and make crispy chicken skins. And I say it's like going to be a snack, but I don't ever really snack. So this last time I made like 30 days worth of dog food for my dog. And I made all these chicken skins, and that actually was my lunch that day. I just had a bunch of chicken skins.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Or exactly how they did it, how they did the corning. So,
yeah.
Mm.
I've never had corned beef.
You haven't ate a Reuben before?
Mm-mm. Isn't that crazy?
My wife is Irish, so for St. Patrick's Day, we usually have corned beef.
Yeah.
So we do like corned beef and cabbage. So I stay away from the cabbage. But
I'm guessing with corned beef, you either like it or you don't. Kind of like a Reuben, you either like them or you don't. Pretty much is the way I describe it.
Susan says she eats 3 to 4 eggs at least 6 days a week. It's her first meal. You know, Dave Mack eats, what is it, like 10 eggs a day? Something like that every day. He eats, I think it's 10 eggs and like a pound of ground beef or something like that. And that's typically it. He eats that one meal. I don't know how he can put in that much at one time.
I know.
He's not a real big guy.
No, he's small. He's small. He's fit. And it's like, wow, man, he eats all that at one time. That's.
I'm thinking after the show, I might have to make some eggs.
All this stuff.
I've done that a few times. I'll do like 4 scrambled eggs with a pat of butter in the microwave and eat that. Put some Redmonds on it. Actually, I just gave it away. I got a video. I've worked on the editing. I'm just trying to get it uploaded last night. Couldn't get it done. So tonight after the show, I'll probably try to upload it. But you're going to see what I usually eat for lunch when I'm at home, and it's eggs.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
Gail said that they had corned beef on St. Patrick's Day because her dad was supposedly Irish, but the genealogy work says he was German and Swedish. Yeah. Maybe he had like 0.5% Irish in him.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. Hard-boiled eggs. When I need to eat now. Yep, that's another good point of hard-boiled eggs, right? They're already cooked, and if you're hungry and you don't feel like cooking something, just have a few hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah.
Brian, how do you cook yours? Do you use a dash or do you just boil them in water?
I have an Instant Pot, and
it works that way
it's very simple. You do like 2 minutes, and then let it go like 6-7 minutes for like a natural release, and then they just peel perfectly. You don't have any problems. So that's the way I do them. Works pretty good. What was I gonna say? The other day my wife had eggs. She made eggs and hash browns for dinner or something for herself, and she's like, she only made like 2 eggs, and she's like, do you want these egg yolks? I'm not really into them. I'm like, yeah, sure. So I ate the 2 egg yolks, and she's like, I don't know, eggs just aren't that filling. I'm like, you only had 2 and you gave me the yolk, so you just had 2 egg whites. Do you really think you'd get full from that? I'm like, eggs are actually filling, but you got to eat the yolk. That's the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, when I first switched over, I wasn't eating any kind of ground beef, but I was eating eggs and like lots of vegetables and some fruit and seeds and nuts, and it's terrible. But when I switched over, I didn't really like red meat that much. It just because, all the messaging, I just remember thinking, I don't know, this is going to be hard. And so I had to like get used to eating meat because I didn't like it. Because that's that is always what people say. It's usually women, I don't like meat that much. I don't like red meat, I don't like ground beef that much. If I like meat, it's chicken breast, and it took me a while to be able to even like, I couldn't have, like 2 or 3 months ago, even I couldn't have eaten 5 eggs at one time just because it's kind of a lot. Now I'm like, I could eat more, but it kind of I had to work up to it. And I did not like ribeyes when I very first started because they were too fatty. So I started off with like leaner things and strip or sirloin or whatever. And now I can't stand that. I don't want that at all. So it's interesting. I think your palate is different, especially if you're eating like a standard American diet, bunch of junk, you're expecting all your food to be like hyper palatable and all that. And now, eating just nutritionally dense food, it's different, it was an adjustment for me.
You know, I find it interesting now. I used to like my meat or steak like a medium, you know, just a little bit pink, but now I eat more rare than anything. Kind of weird how that's changed for me, but I don't know. I've ate it enough now. It's like, yeah, I do like this better, more rare. It just took a little while to get used to it. And I think my taste changed, you know, for meat. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely the medium rare to rare type of person with my steaks. And yeah, it's funny. My wife's like a big medium, like it's got to be nice and medium, right? Like every time like I'll do steaks for both of us or something, I can never get it right because I'm so used to not cooking it as much. And I mean, I cook it, but it's like medium rare, right? And she's like, yeah, this is too red. I'm like, all right, I'll put it back on there.
Well, actually, I just realized what time it is, and I am going to turn into a pumpkin. So I'm going to have to go. But I am so glad that you reached out to me.
Yeah.
And asked me and invited me on. I love doing these lives. I told Christy that last Tuesday I was with her, and I really enjoy them. They're a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that you reached out and invited me on.
Yeah, I kind of thought of you when Kip committed. I'm like, I know that you two know each other from a while ago, and I thought, well, I asked you to come on, and sure enough, it worked out great, and you guys got a chance to do a little live together too, which is cool. So.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on. It was a lot of fun, and hope to do stuff with you down the road too.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, take care.
Jonathan.
Okay, thanks. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
I like Mike's comment here. Rare side of medium rare, please. Thank you.
I think Mike and I are twins in that way. So I was medium rare, and now I'm like, a little on the rarer side of medium rare for sure. That's my sweet spot. And but with Brian, for me, it's the opposite. My husband is more like he wants it medium. So I'm like, I cook mine, rare to medium rare, and then I've got to like put his on for several more minutes.
Do you guys ever use Irish butter on your steaks?
I have Kerrygold. So
that's same thing.
Butter, right? Yeah.
I tell you what, that makes a great little sauce. I put it on the plate before I put the hot steak on it, and then I'll put a pad on top and kind of smear it on there too. And by the end, you got all this juices to dip your steak. It's just amazing.
So good.
It's really
thick
with the Kerrygold.
Yeah,
it's really good.
If I do my steak in the cast iron, like the last 10, 15 seconds or so, I'll put a bunch of butter in there to melt up and soak it up on the steak and so forth. So
that sounds like a good way to.
There you go. I knew I couldn't go 2 times in a row without it. So Greg, Mike would like an update on the game. The game update.
There was another score in the game, by the way.
Okay.
Actually, the Raiders picked up a sack. The quarterback sacked him and picked up the ball and ran it for a touchdown. So last night when I looked over, it was like 50. I think it's 56-7 still. So as long as they made the extra point, it was 55-7, but they had the extra point to kick. So as long as they made it.
So there was that game earlier this year. The Dolphins put 70 up. Will the Raiders get to 70 as well?
Yeah. You never know the way it's going. There's still a lot of time left.
Yeah.
So I'm with Gail up there. She said us left coasters have the advantage on all these live streams. I am also on the left coast. It's not even 8 p.m. yet, you guys. Yeah, right there. Yep. It works out perfectly for me.
Yeah, it's almost 11 p.m. for me. So
I would have been gone a long time ago because I have to teach in the morning. And it's the last day before Christmas break, you guys. The kids are going to be like, we're not doing academics. I'll tell you that right now. We're going to do a lot of PE and stuff like that. Art.
So sounds like you enjoyed the holiday ugly sweater party pretty well. I take it.
Me? Oh
yeah.
my God. so fun. I had to, other than my tech issues, my internet, and then everybody teased me, get out of California and you have internet. Anyway, but yeah, other than that, which was a little stressful, and I really enjoy being in the comments too with everybody. So I felt like I had one hand tied behind my back, on my live game. No, it was a lot of fun. I noticed on the title, I think you guys said the first annual, so I'm already looking forward to next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure we'll
Getting
do
that
one
sweater ready for next year already, huh? To try and
I gotta up my game. I mean, I had a prop, but so that was good. But like other people had lights and bells and like, okay, all right, and hats. I'm like, all right.
We got to figure out how to take John down because he won the contest. So
I voted for him, and then Russ was like, "You didn't vote for yourself. Well, then I unvote for you." And I'm like, "You're kind of right, though. Like, all right." So I'll get a little more cutthroat next time and vote for myself.
Gail's still wearing hers.
I like it.
Next time we'll have to have Gail on for that.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, Arlene.
Yeah, just like Becky's was. That's funny. There you go. Only 377 shopping days until the next Christmas.
You're killing me, Mike Shaw. You're killing me. Is it snowing, Mike? That's what I want to know. It was 72 degrees here today, and on Saturday it'll be 80. That's a California Christmas for you.
We actually had a little bit of snow here in Virginia.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. Was it over the weekend or Monday, Tuesday, whenever it was? We got a bunch of rain. And I don't know, we got like 2 or 3 inches of rain, just one of those coastal storms, right? But there was like a cold front that came in at the end. So at the very end, it actually turned to snow. Now, the pavement was too warm, so it wouldn't stick on that, but it sticked on like cars and on like the grass and stuff. So we got a little dusting, which was probably more than we got all of last year. So we're already ahead of the game. We got another coastal storm coming this weekend as well. We're supposed to get 2 to 4 inches of rain. So it's that time of year we get these coastal storms that come up.
Yeah. Well, you're making this is where right now, but he probably knows all about it. Last time I told him something about California, he goes, "Oh, I know." And then he starts telling me all the reasons. I'm like, "You don't even live here, and you know the weather that's coming my way." Okay, all right.
Yeah. So this is the time of year that we get these types of storms, and you never know, because like if it can get cold enough, then this is when you get like 3 feet of snow, like we had the one year. So we'll see if we get the same pattern when it gets a little bit colder, and if we really get a bunch of snow or not. It might happen this year.
I'm within sight line of a couple of big mountains that will get snow in the winter, but there isn't any snow up there yet. So yeah, none yet here. But you guys crack me up with your, it's warm, it's in the 40s like that. That's what I was laughing earlier. Somebody else, I think it was you, Greg, said that, and I just started laughing. I'm like, yeah.
It is for this time of year for here.
I'm just laughing.
Well, Mike just said it's been warm.
It was 39 degrees this morning when I did my sprints. So I went out and sprinted in 39 degrees.
Mike just said it's been warm, ice on the ponds, but still highs in the 40s.
Yeah, see, that's
there you go.
Yeah, that's cold. That's all perspective.
Did you see Arlene's comment?
There we go. El Nino, this is your year, Brian. We're going to get it. What? Which comment? The last one?
Oh, yeah.
I love your Christmas order. I loved your party, and lots of people love the sardines.
Liver. She says challenging us to liver, you guys.
The only time I get liver is when I'm going to go catfishing, and I'm going to put that on for bait. I just don't eat liver.
I hate to admit this, but I had liver 2 nights ago. We had steak, and there was one piece of liver in the freezer, and I took it out, and then I just warmed it up right with the steak, and my wife and I ate it. So
well, you like the sardines so much, it's not surprising, Greg.
Right? I can't do it. I just have such bad memories of liver from when I was a kid, like horrible memories. And I did try sardines. I didn't like them either. My cat loved them. She ate the rest of the can.
We have another scoring update.
Oh no! Are they closer?
Does it get extra loud when I go like this?
No,
not really. No.
It was an interception for a touchdown for the Raiders, so it's like 62-7, and they still have to kick the extra point.
Oh, jeez.
That was an interception.
Yeah, the
6-6?
guy it's right on the line of scrimmage too. The guy just ran up and one-handed it. And
man, what happened to the Chargers? Can you imagine going to like their fan base's message board right now and
I think when my husband, so he's working, so he can't hear any of this, or else I couldn't even do this because he'd be very upset. The Chargers are his team. But I want to leave the house. Like when I know he's going to watch this game, I'm leaving. Like
he's not going to be pretty today.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad over here, you guys.
That is crazy. I'm going to change our little scrolling back to Christy.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice.
Try and change it up throughout the show, you know.
I know. I do that too when we're doing Lioness or if I'm live. And then sometimes I forget and I go, oh, dang, that's been scrolling for like.
That's how I was. Like, I was like, oh, Allison's not even on anymore. And I've still got hers on there.
So, Christy, what do you have going on your channel coming up?
So tomorrow I don't have anything. I finally posted my letter Y short. So for those of you that have been following my ABCs of carnivore, I'm so sad that I'm almost at the end. And I think that's why I didn't do letter Y, because then I just have one left. It's been fun. I might go through it again with different benefits. But anyways, I've been doing, for those of you that don't know, because I'm a teacher and I've been doing like a little short series of like my ABCs of carnivore, and each letter, there's like a carnivore benefit that I've experienced for each letter of the alphabet. So I just posted Y a little bit ago. And then on Saturday, I did a collaboration with Carnivore Journey Crew. So they're a husband and wife duo. So it's mostly with Lori. And she had tried Kelly Hogan's Oopsie Cake. And then we did a video where we cooked and she taught me how to make it, but she changed it. Like we made it into like cupcakes. We did some tweaks to it, but I had never made it before. You guys, you have to like whip those egg whites into meringue. Like I had never done that before. I had never made my own whipped cream before. And so it was just fun. So that's premiering Saturday morning. I'm excited about that one. I think we had a lot of fun. I'm hoping we get to do more of those. And then I'm interviewing Limitless Lindy. And on Sunday, I'm going to be on the Carnivore Roundtable, and Dr. Lisa Wiedemann will be on that. So I'm excited to talk to her. I think that'll be my first, like when I'm on with a doctor like that, you know?
Cool.
So I'm excited about that one too. So yeah, a lot of cool things coming up.
Nice.
Cool.
How about you, Brian? What you got going on your channel coming up?
Oh, geez. I have no idea. So, I've been trying to start doing more. I know I keep saying this, but I've been trying to start doing more long form content again. So I've got the video that I put out today. Got some thoughts on another video that I'm going to start working on probably tomorrow. I don't know when I'll get it out, but so there's that. This is a good programming update. Next Thursday, we are not going to be on for the Low Carb Football Party. So there's just some commitments that I had and so forth. And so, yeah, we're not going to do next Thursday, but we will be back the following Thursday, December 28th. And we've already got at least one guest lined up. So, we'll probably have a couple guests. So that'll be 2 weeks from today, December 28th, that we'll be back. And I forget who's playing in that game, but
that'll probably be our last live of the year.
Yeah. So that's the last regular season. That's week 17, whatever. So that's the last regular season game on Thursday. So that's probably going to be the last Low Carb Football Party. And then we'll have to see what we're going to do going into January. So a lot to talk about there. But anyway, so yeah, outside of working on long form content and probably some shorts here and there, I don't really have a whole lot planned at this point in terms of live stream. I am doing an interview next Monday that'll probably go live at some point after that, like Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, where I'm interviewing somebody, and then they're also going to interview me for their channel. I won't give any names or anything, ahead of time, but so that's something that's coming up. And that's about it, I guess. Yeah, I think I just want to kind of get back into doing some of the quick, like 8 to 10 minute videos where I talk on a particular subject or talk about some of the benefits that I've seen, that kind of thing. I haven't done a whole lot of that lately. I think I've been too far into, I guess, doing lives and so forth. So, I think I kind of missed that. So I like the lives, don't get me wrong. I'm still going to do lives, but maybe not do as many live streams as I had been doing. So.
Cool. Are you going to do a fitness challenge in January? I got my jump rope. It came the other day. I did.
So,
and I tried it out.
I'm definitely not doing the jump rope thing, but
I know.
I think I want to do something.
Sit-ups.
I'm definitely still going to do push-ups, I think. I'm really loving this. So there is that. There's something else here that we haven't even talked about that I want to bring up, though, and this could maybe come into play here with a January theme. January is World Carnivore Month.
I know, and I haven't talked to any carnivores about it, and I want to do something, but what do we do, guys?
I don't know yet. I don't know, but there's got to be some kind of tie-in with that for January.
Maybe I should do carnivore for the month of January.
I could do that too, but then that's what I'm already doing. So
maybe you should do keto.
Oh, look at Eric
for the month of January.
Eric doesn't know what he's going to do next Thursday night. I'm sorry. Yeah,
and then Eric,
you watch the replay. Watch the replay of one of our previous episodes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what? I know where I can find out because I don't have them posted that far in advance. I don't know if I have anything. You know what's going on the 21st is because we have a special episode of Lioness Lifestyle because we're having on Alia. So Alia was on the keto cookout. Now I know she recently is no longer on the keto cookout, but we scheduled a special episode of Lioness Lifestyle Live on Thursday, the 21st at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So there you go. That's what you can do. You can come hang out with us lionesses and Alia Wells, who's fantastic.
Yeah, there you go. That's what you can do since we won't be on. John is asking what the jump rope challenge is. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Okay, so I haven't nailed it down, but here's what I did today, John. So let me know if you want to collaborate on jump rope challenge, because so far I've got no takers, okay? And I'm feeling like, all right, fine. I'll be like I was when I was sprinting, just out there leading the charge. Okay. So here's what I did today. I heard from, I think it was Carnivore Soldier, I think, told me about this app where he uses it for his sprints. So you put in a low number of seconds and a high number of seconds, like 12 seconds to 30 seconds or whatever you want your range to be. And then it randomly generates one of those times. So I tried that today with my jump rope. Because I wanted to see if I could still jump rope because I haven't done that since I was a 7-year-old girl or whatever. And you probably haven't either, Brian, right? Since you were a 7-year-old girl, you haven't gotten any jump roping in there. Sorry, I just teasing. So that's what I did this morning, and it was really enjoyable. It was so enjoyable that I went outside after I did some jump rope sprints, if you will. And I tried it on sprinting out on my running sprints out on my street. It is kind of cool because you don't have to think about the time frame. So yeah, I set it for, I think I upped it a little bit for the jump. I can jump rope longer than I can sprint before I get winded. And it starts to get your biceps too. You can feel it in your biceps when you're jump roping. So I don't know how to frame it exactly, but I'm thinking, kind of like a jump rope sprints. Awesome, Eric. I'm thinking jump rope, maybe sprints, and then, whatever. I don't like to pigeonhole it and kind of say whatever people can do. My mom, who is 71 years old, picked up a jump rope like a couple weeks ago. And she started with like just literally 5 jumps in the morning, 5 jumps in the evening. And I think she's up to like 7. But I'm like, hey, she's 71. That's fantastic. She says now she can do it. The rope doesn't like hit her feet anymore. She can like, you know, free and clear, you know, jump rope. So she's like feeling pretty, you know, happy with herself. And I thought if my 71-year-old mom is jump roping, like she's not going to out jump rope me. That's for sure. So I think I'm going to do it like jump rope sprints on the days when I'm not sprinting, since I only do those every other day now. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to go live and talk about it. And I guess it'll be my first solo live if I don't get any takers. So that'll be kind of fun. I think.
John says he's in.
Okay, John, where? Okay, John is in. So John, I don't think I have your email. I could probably get it from Carnivore Backwoods or email something.
You need to have him on your show too. John I'm telling you what, his channel should be way bigger than it is for the number of subs, because he puts out really good content.
Yeah, I was watching him do push-ups the other day, and I've been on a couple of lives with him now. He's a good guy. So
he's dedicated.
So if you're in on the jump rope challenge, John, and you want to do it on your channel too, like email me and we can go live together and like introduce it and talk about it and say how we're going to do it and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's going to be my January fitness challenge.
And John can do the jump rope right after he gets done doing his 400 push-ups or whatever he's going to be up to.
He's a beast on the push-ups.
Yeah, he is.
He's killing it.
Mm-hmm. I'm still doing push-ups, but I do them after I sprint and I'm kind of tired. So I'm doing wall push-ups, but I'm like, hey, I did 50 wall push-ups today, 2 sets of 25. That's pretty good.
Oh, Chargers must have scored. Eric's giving me updates.
I'm seeing that. So Mike said, yay, Chargers.
Mike.
And then Eric said Chargers are in double digits. So yeah.
I like that, John. Most improved.
What does that make it? 62-14?
Johnny kicks butt on all the challenges. He won. Remember you did that, wasn't it a miles or step challenge? He won that. And now he's doing it on the push-ups.
Carnivore Backwoods did the step challenge thing to see what everybody's steps would be. Was that for the entire month? I think it was for an entire month.
For a month.
And Champion Within, John, he crushed everybody in that. Now, I'm going to say I probably was going to be in last place anyway, but my tracker stopped updating like halfway through the second day. So I think I had like 7,000 steps where everybody else had like 300,000 or something. I was probably going to be in last place anyway, though, because I think I was averaging about 5,000 to 7,000 steps a day. And like John over there was like 18,000 steps today. I was like,
no. That's when I took my Fitbit off. I got one when it was all the rage to have one. And then like all the other teachers were getting way more steps than me. And I'm like, I'm not lazy. Like I'm teaching just as hard as you guys. Forget it. And I just took that Fitbit and chucked it right into a drawer.
Where's Becky tonight?
Yeah,
I hope she's okay. We haven't seen her tonight.
I don't know.
I don't know. She might have had I know like every few weeks she has something going on Thursday evenings. This might have been the week.
Oh, I think so. Seems like she said something during the ugly sweater party.
Yeah, so we got to really figure out though how we're going to celebrate Carnivore Month in January.
Yes.
It's got to be a celebration, right? And that's like the perfect time to have World Carnivore Month, because guess what happens in January? Everybody says, New Year's resolution, I'm going to lose weight. Well, instead of just doing that fad diet, people might call carnivore fad, but seriously, look at carnivore. It's not like even dieting. It's like a whole lifestyle change, really any of the low carb. So I should blanket it all in there, any kind of low carb, keto, ketovore, Atkins, whatever, right? It's just a complete lifestyle change, and you don't even feel like you're dieting. Like everybody that does that New Year's resolution thing in January, what's their main thing? They're trying to eat less and exercise more. They go to the gym like 3 times and then they give up on that. And they find that eating less doesn't really work. So they're really, really hungry and it doesn't work for them. Well, guess what? When you go low carb, carnivore, whatever it is, you don't have to necessarily eat less. You just eat the right foods, and you don't get to that point where you're constantly hungry or anything. And you're still losing the weight. You're losing the body fat, which is what you really want. When we say that we want to lose weight, it's really that we want to lose the body fat that we have, right? And get in shape. And that's what happens.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, one huge meetup. I was just going to say, do a meetup with 10 people eating steaks on the live stream. I don't know. I mean, that's what I was going to say. And John, I just see John was saying a meetup on several channels. So, yep.
So this must have been when we had the step challenge. He had 420,000 steps. Jeez.
That's a lot of steps. So we could do a meetup like that and then like share out some of our top comments, you know, from people on our channels. I've gotten some cool comments recently, especially on my 6-month update video. Lots and lots of really awesome stories from people doing this way of eating.
Yeah. Brian's mic drop month. That happens all the time. So I thought I was going to go 2 times in a row though without doing it. I'm so disappointed.
You can do a steak challenge. I don't know. You have to be a big steak or something. I don't know.
What is it? The 72 ouncer or whatever. Is that the one in that movie, The Great Outdoors? Was it with John Candy where he did the steak? The big steak
I remember that.
Oh, that was great. I will say this: my birthday is New Year's Eve, December 31st.
You're gonna be the big.
What a cool
I'm gonna turn 50. I'm gonna turn 50. So for my first day in my second half of 100, starting that, I am going to have a nice can't think of the word I want to say. Tomahawk. There we go. A nice tomahawk steak. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe this thing's gonna be 32, 48 ounces, somewhere in there.
Have you had a tomahawk before? Because I haven't.
I have a couple of times. The last time I had one was for Father's Day. My family got me a tomahawk for Father's Day, and I cooked it up. And it was so good. I had trouble though; I couldn't quite finish it all. So it was like a 44-ounce steak, I think. I think I ate about 32 ounces in one setting, and then, you know, I had the extra 12 ounces for another time. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Maybe 1.5 pounds, maybe is my record. But I think that should be calculated by percent of your body weight. Like, I'm 126 pounds. That's like.
I gotta tell you, there are some people that are really small that can eat a lot. Dave Mack is one of them. Dave Mack is one of them, and I don't know how he puts it all in there. Alia, you mentioned her. It's been a while, but I interviewed her some time back, and we were talking. And I asked her how much she eats in a day, and she said something like 3 or 4 pounds or 5 pounds of meat or something like that in a day. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? How and where is it all going?" Because yeah, I don't know. So there are some people that can eat a lot.
Yeah, if I eat like eggs, then I'm only going to eat about 1 pound of beef. If I don't have anything else, it's more like 1.5 pounds of beef for the day. But that's usually I have eggs and maybe eggs and bacon if it's a weekend, and then 1 pound of beef later. But yeah, no, I can't do much more than that. I don't know. Yeah, where's she putting all of that? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Arlene mentions Amarillo, Texas is one of those restaurants. Yeah, they have. I looked it up one time. I don't remember who I was talking to, but it was a live stream we were doing, and I looked it up. I can't remember the name of the place, but it's called like the 72 ouncer or something like that. And it's a 72-ounce steak, and you have so much time to eat it in. And if you do, your meal's free.
The Big Texan.
There we go. The Big Texan. There we go. Mike's got it. The Big Texan, that's what it is. If you eat a 72-ounce steak and all the sides is free. And that's where they get you, really. probably. I mean, well, I don't know that I could eat 72 ounces steak, but you got to eat the sides and everything too, and that's just gonna fill you up. Oh my God, I can't even imagine eating all those carbs. How awful you're gonna feel. Oh. Anyway. Oh. Oh no. Eric says a can of sardines every day in January.
That is no kind of celebration. No.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Thank you, Susan. I'm still 49. I got, let's see, I was figuring it out. I have 16 more days. So I guess that's counting today, but of being only 49 years old before I actually hit 50. The funny thing is my youngest daughter, when she was little, on my birthday every year, I would get this card and she would write, "Oh, you're 15 years away from half 100 or something like that," right? So she's older now. She's in college, and like last year, I got the note written in there, 1 year away from half 100. It's gonna become her tradition thing. So this year, it's gonna be like, you're half 100.
The sad thing is, I remember my 40th birthday better than my 50th. I mean, that's how fast time has went. I mean, it's just weird, but it's like, I remember when I just turned 40, just like it was yesterday, and here I'm 51 now. It's like, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh, night, Mike.
Yeah.
See you, Mike. Good seeing you, buddy.
Mike. Thank you, Arlene, for the early birthday wish. Thanks, Mike. Gail doesn't remember her last birthday. I remember my last birthday. Here's why. Again, it's New Year's Eve, right? So, but anyway, I'm a big college football fan, and Ohio State was playing Georgia. No, was it Georgia? Yeah, Ohio State was playing Georgia in the semifinal game on New Year's Eve, and the game was running late. And everybody in the house is like, "Oh yeah, we gotta watch the ball drop. It's about to be New Year's Eve." And my son and I are like, "But they're about to kick the game-winning field goal." So we're sitting there, and we're down to like 10 seconds left, right, until the new year. And they're like, "You gotta change the channel. You gotta change the channel." Like, no, they're kicking the field goal. They're gonna win. And then they missed the field goal.
Oh.
They missed the field goal. They could have knocked off Georgia, right? And they missed the field goal. And then so we have to change the channel real quick. And it was like everybody was getting really mad. So I think that it changed the channel, and it was like 2, 1, that type of thing, right? So that wasn't good. So I definitely remember that. Everybody was mad at me, but it was my birthday. So, and this year I don't have to worry about that because I'm pretty sure that the semifinal games are on the 30th, not the 31st. So we're good. John's calling everybody youngins.
Hey, Brad.
Hey,
Brad says you gotta eat 50 sardines.
Yeah.
But
I had like 5 or 6 of them a couple of weeks ago. Isn't that good enough?
Yep, it's good enough.
I think we need to start having all these people on that keep challenging us to stuff to have them do the challenges. We'll call it guest challenge.
Yes, guest challenge, mystery guest. That's what it is. The guests have to come on and eat the sardines.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely need some sort of challenge for Brad. So are we in the fourth quarter of this game? We've got to be. It's almost 11:30.
Yeah, it's
right?
63-14, 4:10 left to go in the game.
Okay.
63. I wonder if they'll get to 70.
Yeah, I don't think I think you should encourage your husband not to watch that game.
I know, but then if I say that, he'll be like mad because I told him. I gave him spoilers.
Yeah, he might be mad for a couple hours if he watches the game.
I know. I don't know if he's going to try to watch it tonight. That's the thing, because he works. So he's a massage therapist, and he just got a new job. And he does like the closing shift, so he'll be home probably like in an hour. But he doesn't have to go in until like 11 in the morning or whatever. Sure. So he likes, he comes home, he eats dinner, whatever. So yeah. So I don't know if he's going to try to watch that tonight or what. I hope not, because I won't get any sleep because I'll hear the yelling. Because I'll be going to bed. Because I have to get up early to teach in the morning. I'll be up at probably before 5, knowing me. Is there a full dose of sardines? Yes, Gail, 1.
That's what I was gonna say. Gail, I would say 1, but I'm thinking Greg is probably gonna say like 50 or something, because he was really liking those sardines.
He did.
I don't know. I haven't had a second can yet, so
that's what I was just gonna ask you. Did you eat any more though? Because that's the real test.
I did buy some more, but my son wanted to try them, so I thought I'd buy him a package and he could try. I'll have some when he comes home from college for the Christmas break, and then I'll try it again.
I mean, they're supposedly really healthy for you. I don't know. I want to enjoy my food. I'll stick with the omega-3 supplements for now.
Arlene's mentioning something about hot links. Yeah, food challenge.
Food challenge like hot links. What is that? What's hot links?
Are those little sausages?
Yeah, little sausage links they have hot links. They're hot.
I don't think I've ever tried them before, but I think they're the little ones. Yeah, and they're hot.
I think they usually have like a red casing on them, if I'm not mistaken. But
I don't think I've ever tried those.
Brian probably wants to eat wings. He's probably missing some wings. He likes wings pretty well, he says.
I'd eat some wings.
Funny story here. When I was in high school, I played on the basketball team, and you guys remember Ponderosa?
Yeah.
They used to have like the buffet with all the wings and everything there, right? So anytime that we traveled, it seemed like on the bus, coming home, they would stop. Like if it was a long travel, like if we were in the playoffs or something, we'd probably travel a couple hours away, right? And then on the way back, they'd have a stop somewhere in Ponderosa. And I'm telling you, those restaurants, they didn't know what was hitting them. Like 15 high school guys walking in, just got done playing a basketball game. Oh my gosh. The challenge was who could eat the most wings. And I'm telling you, we'd rack them up.
I bet I can eat a lot of wings because I don't get full from them the same way I do with beef.
Yeah.
Actually,
a whole lot of meat on it.
Any kind of chicken is like that.
Yep. I like to cook my wings up and put some butter and salt on them. And
sounds delicious.
We do have another scoring update.
Oh, another scoring update? Okay.
Yeah. The Chargers scored again.
Oh, they didn't hit 70. Okay.
63 to 21.
All right.
Wow.
Sorry, Christy, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no. I was just talking about chicken. So I made Rick's heart attack chicken, and I ate I think I had 9 or 10 chicken thighs there, and I thought it would be plenty. And I ate 6 and left 3 for my husband, but I was wanting to eat those 3 too. And I was I guess he has to have some dinner, but I definitely ate 6, and then I was still I could have some more chicken, So note to self, I need to double that. I need to make 20 next time.
It sounds like maybe Russ and I should have a hot wing challenge.
Yes, a wing off.
Yeah. Sardines with butter.
I don't know. Has anyone tried that? Have you guys tried that? I mean, usually butter makes things better, but I just don't. Sardines were just not for me.
So before the sardine thing that we did, when I've had sardines, I cooked them in butter, in a frying pan. Heat them up that way, and they're pretty good that way. So it's Rick Rodriguez's heart attack chicken, right?
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's crazy because it's just beef tallow. I use beef tallow. And then I just fried the chicken in there, and then he doesn't salt his, but I tasted. I thought I'm going to salt mine. So then after that, after I pulled him out, I just hit him with some Redmonds. That's it though. I mean, crispy, like just juicy, so good. Now I'm currently saving my bacon fat because next time I'm doing them in bacon fat. Just to see. I'm going to do wings. I have wings. I'm going to do some wings like that.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say
bacon fat is really good.
Have you tried any of the other Redmond flavors of salts?
So I have their hickory smoked salt, and that's actually what I use when I do my picanha. I know, don't tell Kip. He probably feels about smoked salt the way he feels about liquid smoke. But I do the Redmond's hickory smoked salt and butter when I do the picanha, and it's delicious. That's about the one thing I use it for. Everything else I just use the fine sea salt usually. Oh, I have their seasoned salt, Redmond seasoned salt, which I use just very rarely. Like I don't even know how often. Once a month, once every other month, I get some Redmond seasoned salt would be good. That has other seasonings in there, like the garlic and whatever else is in there. I don't know. It's really good though. But
I think I'm going to order some of the other flavors just because I want to try them. I like the regular one pretty well, and I'm going to have to reorder because I'm getting low. But I think I'll order some of the other ones too, just because it's pretty good.
I went through, I bought the bag. I don't know how big those bags are.
Yeah.
But I went through the whole, I'm on my second bag.
Wow.
Are you talking about the smoked salt, the flavors of smoked salt?
Yeah, there's salt, and then they got like a chipotle lime and something else too.
Yes, that one sounds good.
Yeah.
I've only had the regular salt one from them, but I've got that one like on automatic order all the time. So Arlene mentioned the seasoned salt too.
It's good. It's good. I don't know why. For me, usually, like ribeye with just salt is just what that's just what I want. But every now and again, I'll pull out that seasoned salt, and it is good. Yes. And she says we're just so cute. Thanks, Arlene. Brian, are you aware that we've color coordinated, by the way? Did you notice any of that?
I don't know. I'm not sure how it happens.
You didn't get my text earlier?
That's funny.
Do you know there's football games starting this weekend?
Sorry, Arlene was asking which ones are good, so I was going to answer her on this.
Go ahead.
So I have the hickory smoked salt, and that one is good on picanha, and then the seasoned salt, but it sounds like you've tried that. But yes, the chipotle lime one sounded really good, and I'm trying to think what the other flavors were.
There's like a 3-pack, I think, that I saw on their website or Amazon or something.
Yes. And I haven't looked at them in a while. I know Two Crazy Ketos have talked about those flavors, and they've said that they're good. And I haven't watched them for a long time. But I know that they enjoy those, and they put that chili lime stuff on shrimp. I'm not a seafood person, but I think that's what they did with it, and they liked it.
What were you gonna say, Craig, before that?
The Vikings. There's NFL games this Saturday now because I suppose college football's on a little break.
Yeah.
Because I know the Vikings play Saturday. I think, is it against the Lions? No, they play the Bengals. They play the Bengals.
But the Lions matchups have to be coming up.
Yeah, they play them twice, so that might decide the division.
The Lions finished with the Lions finished with the Vikings, Cowboys, and then Vikings again.
Oh,
so that's going to be an interesting stretch, especially the way they're playing right now. They're probably going to lose all 3 of those. Their defense, I don't know what happened. They went from giving up 17 points a game or something like that to 28.8 points per game in the last 6 games or whatever. I don't know what happened.
There's only 21 seconds left. They're going across to shake hands. We got a final of 63-21.
So they only scored 63. I was close. I said 17.
Boy, we weren't even close on ours, were we?
So close, Brian. So close.
I didn't even get the Chargers right. I think, what did I say? I said 17-13 the Raiders were going to win.
Yeah, and I was like
Ended up being
21-13.
63-21, you said?
That's
So,
a
yep,
blowout.
21.
Mm.
And we hit our usual 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's always the same.
You guys do this every week. That's crazy. Like I jumped on at 6:30, so I've only been on for 2 of those hours, and I'm like, I'm getting tired.
Oh, it gets tiring, man, especially
Yeah.
when I start thinking like, oh my gosh, I gotta be working.
Usually the last
like
hour and a
8
half to go. It
hours.
went pretty good today, though. I mean, usually, but sometimes you're just like, oh, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like thinking like, how much sleep am I gonna get, because I need to be working here in like 8 hours from now.
Oh my goodness. Well, you need to get to bed there, Brian.
I don't need as much sleep now that I'm on carnivore, though. I used to need like 9-10 hours of sleep all the time. Now I'm typically between 7 and 8, but I can function easily with 7.
Yeah.
So
Same with me. I'm usually 7, sometimes 6, sometimes 8, like just depending. Oh, Arlene, I'm in Southern California.
Greg, you're in Iowa, right? And I am in Virginia.
So we're just spread all across the land.
What is this?
Constant amazement.
If Brian gets tired, how can you tell? Am I missing a joke here? There's probably a good joke and I just can't think of it. Gail's in the state of constant amazement. That's a pretty cool state. How can we tell if Brian gets tired?
His face gets a little red.
No, because that happened from the sardines, and that was early on before I was tired.
Oh, your face did get red. As the smell got worse, your face was like...
That was probably the funnest
rough.
show we've done. I mean, as far as pure laughs and entertainment.
I know. Yeah. I'm glad I wasn't on it, but I'm glad I didn't miss it. I was definitely watching you guys and Aaron and everybody.
So I'm waiting for John to post the answer to this question.
Like explain the joke, John. We don't get it.
I would say because he starts knocking the microphone over, but I do that all the time. So it's not just a tired thing. Brian your voice
is always calm.
So calm.
Yeah, your voice is always so calm.
Because I can tell you this, before I was on a carnivore diet, nobody, especially my family, would say that my voice was calm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I've noticed, especially like after maybe 4, 5, 6 months or so, like I've just become a much more calmer person. And I was just talking about I think it was in the video that I put out this morning, over the weekend, I went shopping with my wife and we were out for over 7 hours. Oh, watch out for that cat.
I know. I just
your sweater. Where's the sweater? But anyway, we were out for like over 7 hours shopping, and I have never done that in my life. And normally like an hour of like shopping, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Like, can we just go home? That's it. And I didn't complain about it at all. It probably helped that I didn't know at the time, I didn't know, but it probably helped that at the end we got to go to Texas Roadhouse and I had a nice ribeye. But yeah, it was just crazy. Like it's so funny, like how different I am compared to how I've been for so many years. What? Okay, Brian wouldn't have the strength to knock his mic over. I was like, yeah, I don't know. So I guess we should wrap it up.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan. That was very nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is this? Like, hey, like my granddaughter says, enjoy my time with you. Thank you, the carnivore community. All right, Arlene. So yeah, Christy, any last words before we drop off that you want to say?
Oh, just thanks for having me on. It was just kind of, like you invited me. I was like, oh, I have some, it was last minute and you guys just welcomed me on. And thank you I enjoy hanging out with you guys. And kind of like Greg said, and kind of like to echo Arlene too, like, this community is just awesome. And I do really feel like, I'm now, made friends with you two guys as well. So yeah, thanks for being part of my little tribe. That's one of the reasons I'm so glad that I made a channel, because I'm getting to know all of you guys. So
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks for inviting me on, and thanks to everyone in the chat for watching and for listening about my challenge, my lean mass hyper responder challenge. So I appreciate all of your support with that.
Yeah. All right, Greg, you got any last words?
No, I just want to thank Christy and our other guests for coming on. It was a good time as usual, and I'm glad that I thought tonight was a good show too, and I'm glad it was, because the game was a complete blowout and wasn't even worth looking at. So,
oh man!
But yeah, it was a good time though, a lot of fun, and just echo a lot of the statements that you have for sure, because it's really nice having all these people in the community and in the chat, and it's just a good time.
All right, and again, reminder: we're not going to be on next Thursday. But Christy's got
we might have to do a happy hour next week just for fun, since we wish everybody a happy holiday. We might do that. We'll figure it out.
Will. Yep. So Christy's got something Thursday evening at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So you can check that out. And then we'll be back in 2 weeks. I know that at least one of our guests in 2 weeks will be new, never on our show before. So that'll be cool. So yeah, we'll see you all in a couple weeks. And you know what I need to do? We have an outro.
Do you have an outro?
Yeah, we do. Thanks for coming on, and great to hear you're raised in Iowa, Deb.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.